more in the summer.
How about that? Thank you, Jen. 5.5 minutes now in front of the hour. Whether traveling or working remotely, we know your PC is your business headquarters. And when work takes you on the go, you need a laptop that can keep up. Dell's XPS 13 empowers small business owners to collaborate anywhere with incredible battery life and powerful performance. Reduce downtime by 50% and boost productivity with 4 times faster performance when you refresh to new Dell PCs featuring Intel Core processors. Explore the XPS 13 at Dell.com/radio.
If you're over 65, there's one place you should be Wednesday, November 2nd, and that's the Rite Aid Wellness 65 Plus event. In addition to the 20% off seniors get every first Wednesday, you'll get an extra 10% off that day if you get an immunization. That's 30% off almost everything in store. If you need another reason, the CDC recommends a flu and pneumonia shot if you're over 65. They're both free with Medicare Part B and no appointments necessary. So stay healthy and don't miss our one-day event, Wednesday, November 2nd. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Tune in every Saturday afternoon at 3 for the Money Hour Radio, brought to you by Pierre Shale Financial Group. Learn estate and tax planning strategies, choosing the right IRA, and the ever-important decision when to take Social Security benefits. When you have retirement in sight, sound decisions are critical. Tune in to the Money Hour Radio every Saturday afternoon at 3, right here on AM 560, brought to you by Pierre Shale Financial Group.
Advisor services offered through Pierre Shale Financial Group Incorporated. Pierre Shale Financial Group Incorporated is a registered independent investment advisor.
Knowing the ins and outs when buying and selling a home, obtaining a mortgage, or real estate investing are at your fingertips. Tune in to Market Overdrive with Carla Mina for the information you need, as well as a little fun.
Okay, so you'll pick a city agent for your city property in a suburban.
I would.
Okay.
This is what I would do.
I disagree with you.
Oh, boy.
Okay, well, let's have it.
It's all about analytics, and I keep saying this over and over on the show, right? It's about understanding the market.
That's Market Overdrive, Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're like most Christians, the Affordable Care Act is not only expensive, but it presents major challenges to your moral and spiritual beliefs. The good news? Pro-Life Health Plan provides you with a solution to opt out without penalty. Pro-Life Plan combines a sharing ministry with supplemental insurance products to provide you with a well-constructed national PPO health benefits package that's affordable and offers you freedom to choose any doctor, any hospital, anywhere. Call now to see if you qualify. 815-372-1363. Pro-Life Health Plan believes in a free market approach to healthcare and risk management. For most of us, Obamacare is not appealing and it's not affordable. Take control of your health. Call Eric Wilson now and start saving with the Pro-Life Health Plan. 815-372-1363. That's 815-372-1363. 815-372-1363.
AM 560. The Answer.
Thanks for being with us. Well, like other Chicago Cubs fans, 82-year-old Mort Balaban and his family are riding an emotional roller coaster with their team through its run-up to Game 7 of the World Series tonight. It's been well documented that the Cubs' last title was in 1945, but the Wilmette News says, unlike all but a relative handful of Cubs fans in the world, Mort remembers that decades ago, World Series firsthand. The Wilmette architect said he went with his father to Game 7 of the 1945 World Series, in which the Cubs fell to the Detroit Tigers. You can bet he'll be watching tonight. By the way, on StubHub, the most expensive tickets bought yesterday for tonight's closing game, $19,500 each for a pair by the Cubs dugout. For Jennifer Kashenka, I'm Gordon Deal. Thanks for listening to This Morning, America's First News.
Our global and interconnected world impacts the market from more angles than ever before. Learn how to have more control over your investments and make proactive decisions based on market indicators. The show not to miss is Empowered Investing, Strategies for Proactive Investors, Saturdays at noon, hosted by Joe Lopresti, founder of the Investor Education Institute and veteran investment manager with Arlington Capital Management. Stop following the herd. Learn how to become a smarter investor. Empowered Investing, Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Your world is in transition. You and I know that. Some of these transitions we like. Social media, smartphones, the internet, some of them we don't. Global economics and social beliefs that are in upheaval. In this fast-changing world, you need a trusted friend to turn to. A friend to walk with you and turn transition into transformation. Join me, Steve Beeman, for The Steve Beeman Show with my co-host Carol Parisi, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock on AM 560 The Answer. Let us partner with you and empower you to make it a better week ahead.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. 2 police officers murdered in Iowa early this morning in what are being described as ambush attacks. First, an Urbandale officer was gunned down. This man was nearby.
Well, I thought it was somebody knocking on the back door is what I thought originally, so I came upstairs because I was downstairs. And then heard like 7 or 8 gunshots.
Then about 20 minutes later, a Des Moines cop was found dead a few miles away. There is no suspect in custody at the moment. They're looking for a white man in a pickup truck. There's also a search in Memphis for gunmen who had bandanas covering their faces when they opened fire at a park last night, killing a 16-year-old girl, injuring 5 others, 1 critically. The election is now just 6 days away.
How many of you have already voted?
Hillary Clinton at a rally in Florida.
Well, I'm asking you to go out and make sure you get more people to vote.
And the Democrat again attacked Donald Trump for his treatment of women.
What he does at his rallies is to go after those women all over again, insulting them.
Clinton even brought former Miss Universe Alicia Machado on stage. She said Trump has insulted her. Trump kept up his attacks on Clinton's email controversy as the FBI investigates again.
She wants to blame everyone else for her mounting legal troubles, but she has really no one else to blame but herself.
Trump also reached out to Democrats while he was in Wisconsin last night.
Who are having a bad case of buyer's remorse.
That if they already voted early, they're allowed in that state to change their vote to Trump. He will rally in Florida today. Clinton will be in Arizona and Nevada. He's a hero in Chicago. Addison Russell hit a grand slam and drove in 6 runs to keep the Cubs alive in the World Series.
It's every kid's dream. I mean, it all comes down to Game 7, and we're excited.
The Cubs beat the Indians 9-3 to force a Game 7 finale tonight. Cleveland hasn't won the championship in 68 years. It's been 108 years for Chicago. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
62 degrees. Skies are cloudy. 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. We'll keep you advised as 2 Iowa police officers are dead. As 1 suburban Des Moines officer, 1 a Des Moines officer, and Iowa police tell us the shooter remains on the loose this morning. Chicago Cubs bats arrived early, and with Cubs beating the Indians last night 9-3, they force a deciding Game 7 in the World Series. Addison Russell a grand slam, Chris Bryant a home run, Anthony Rizzo also went deep, Jake Arrieta cruises to the win. Cubs skipper Joe Maddon says it's fitting this series is headed to a Game 7.
All of a sudden, our offense is having a resurgence, which we need. Of course, we want to be the group that breaks the string, but it's just correct and apt that we would go 7 games.
Big League ERA leader Kyle Hendricks will start tonight's deciding Game 7 against ace Corey Kluber. Authorities are searching for the driver of a hit-and-run accident that injured severely a 3-year-old boy on Chicago's southwest side.
Be a man and turn yourself in. Let's get this over with. Let's get this addressed. I mean, there's a kid out there who's fighting for his life.
That's the uncle of the victim, Patrick Zabelet, who pleaded for the person responsible to come forward. Chicago Teachers Union has approved a contract with its leaders negotiated with the Chicago Public Schools. Union announcing late last night that more than 70% of its more than 27,000 members voted to accept that once tentative agreement. Chicago aldermen are removing Donald Trump's name from the honorary street sign that sits in front of his River North skyscraper. Alderman Brendan Riley said the move was made to punish the Republican presidential nominee for comments made about Chicago. Construction is underway on a new welcome center at Wheaton College, a $4 million project. Groundbreaking held yesterday. The facility is scheduled to open late next year. A Northwest Indiana coroner is warning about
a rash of overdose deaths in that state. Lake County Coroner Marilee Fry issuing a news release saying her office is investigating 9 drug overdose deaths just in the past 8 days. Patrick Kane, a goal and 2 helpers for Chicago last night. Blackhawks over the Flames, 5-1. A rematch of the last 3 MAC title games. Really wasn't. Northern Illinois pounding Bowling Green last night, 45-20. Bulls clashing with the Celtics in Boston later on tonight. Without guard Michael Carter-Williams, out 4 weeks with injuries to his left knee. The news, a service of Staples with low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details, restrictions, and limitations which may apply. Staples, make more happen. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager came away with a firm belief following the last presidential debate.
Nothing happened last night except the reinforcement in me that there is no excuse not to vote for Donald Trump if you are a Republican. I actually do believe he's a finer human being in all ways than she is. He is measurably a better human being than she is. He has finer character.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, and Lauren Gabler, project manager, on how they do business differently.
As much as computers are the focus of our work, the focus is really the people that we deal with. When people call us, they're usually calling for a user problem. They're not calling because their PC is smoking.
Are they calling for problems that they don't understand? So they can't do their work. They need to be able to open Windows or, open Outlook. They can't find their email from 10 years ago that they really need to look at. And so the guys are able to track down the information and provide an experience for them of solving a problem. And it's very user-friendly for the end customer because they can call in and talk to someone all the time that are ready, available when people call in during normal business hours. We have on-call technicians for emergency situations. If there's an emergency, they'll get notified and we can take care of it.
New customers, sign up with Turnkey IT now through December 1st and receive all security appliances and backup devices for free, up to a $4,000 value. Visit turnkey.pro today. This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
5:09 and an update on the roads this morning. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Michael. Right now, roads are about as clear as they're going to get. The overnight work is gone. Little work on the Indiana Toll Road are just wrapping up now. eastbound from Clyde Avenue, from just past Clyde Avenue to near the Gary Airport, and then westbound in that same area between 20 and Calumet Avenue. Some moving work just concluded. The other expressways and tollways at the moment are all fine. Traffic is a service of Dania Furniture. Shop Dania Furniture's fall bedroom sale. Save up to 30% on select bedroom furniture, mattresses, bedding, and sofa sleepers. Hundreds of items in stock ready to deliver. Shop locations in Northbrook or Lombard and fall for your new modern bedroom during the Dania bedroom sale. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy skies today and tonight. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly later in the day with a high 68. Then tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the evening. Patchy fog after midnight. Low tonight of 48. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
62 at O'Hare, 65 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So you made it back.
Yeah, I'm here. Everything's good.
You did go to the game last night in Cleveland.
Well, here's the deal. Before we left the show yesterday, you suggested, hey, why not? Because we were joking around. I needed a ride back. I had a flight there, but I needed a ride home. Marcus, program director, we checked Amtrak, Greyhound, Megabus. Nothing would get me back here on time. So you suggested
I'm glad that you needed
a tweet.
I'm glad that you needed the program director to help you figure out the logistics of getting back from Cleveland.
Well, because I couldn't have the day off, so I'm like, we just reviewed our options, and you suggested that I tweet something out to people saying, "Hey, I'm in Cleveland, but how am I going to get back home? Help me out." And you replied, "Do you want to say the tweet that because you're a licensed pilot and you could have flown me back?"
I think I said I would fly you, but I don't want to.
Exactly. And I checked.
So I was out.
Yeah, you were out.
Yeah.
And then I checked with some other people who had private planes and.
Oh, sure.
Well,
I mean,
you know
your
people who
your roster is without end, and when it comes to people with private planes.
That lasted 2 seconds, and then my dentist is in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Watching the game, was there for Game 7. So my dentist said, I will drive you back. So I'm on my way to the airport. I'm so excited. I get to the airport, and then he texted me and said, but if they win, I'm staying for Game 7.
No, that makes sense. I'd stay for Game 7, too.
Right. So I was at the airport ready to get on the plane, and I couldn't go, and that's why I feel like I'm going to cry.
I thought you took a picture. I saw a picture on Twitter of you at...
This is a little radio spoof, because you know what I did? I was at Progressive Field. I was near the dugout, but I was there in July for the RNC.
You've committed fraud.
Oh, are you upset with it?
No, I'm going to file a class action along with your Twitter followers for defrauding us of the understanding that you were in Cleveland.
I was in Cleveland in July.
Yeah, the in July is mission critical. That's
because it was great because they opened the field during the RNC. I would go into Progressive Field every day just to take a break, get some fresh air, some sunshine.
So you
got friendly with the grounds crew, and they let me go on the field.
You weren't at the game?
Take a picture. No, I wasn't. But my friends were there, and I should have been there, and I feel sick that I wasn't there. But who cares? The Cubs won in great fashion. Stratomatic.
We're not even going to let you talk about it now because you didn't go.
No.
We're not talking about it because you wouldn't go.
But what about the drop fly?
Turn off her mic.
What about the drop fly?
Take her out of here.
In the first inning.
In the air to center. Naquin to his left. Chisenhall. Neither one gets it. 1 run scores. Here comes Zobrist. Throw home. Safe as the ball gets away, and Russell ends up at third. And a big misplay out in right center. It's 3-0.
Yeah, the game was over then. I mean, it was the Bad News Bears versus the Bad News Baby Bears.
It was over in the third inning when Addison Russell hit the grand slam.
That was really over.
2-0. High fly ball to left center. At the wall. Grand slam.
Yeah.
Didn't Stratomatic predict Cleveland Indians 7, Cubs 2?
Yeah, Stratomatic actually tweeted back at me saying,
They
you know,
did?
we're happy to be wrong on this one and see a Game 7.
Did they really?
And I tweeted, Stratomatic, why have you forsaken me?
Stop it. But this is a big deal. I mean, there's got to be other Cub fans out here who are excited as I am.
No, I don't think so.
312-642-5600.
Fairly certain you're the only one.
No, I'm not. And Chris Bryant's ready to go. I mean, this is what every player dreams of.
Anybody who plays this game, you know, grows up dreaming of winning a World Series, and you know, we to play in a Game 7 tomorrow. That's pretty special.
Yeah. We do know that Chicago police officers have been told if you had a scheduled day off today, you're not getting that day off. You have to go by Wrigley Field. There's street closures in place, and if they're working 12-hour shifts.
Corey Kluber also looking forward to Game 7.
Oh, we used to. Oh, wait, real quick. I have a trivia question for you.
Uh-huh.
Who was the last player to hit a grand slam in a World Series?
Paul Konerko in 2005.
Game 4.
Game 2.
Game 2?
Yeah.
Darn it.
I was there.
I was there, too.
I wasn't pretending to be there.
I was in the locker room. I was
Of course
so there.
you were.
No, I was covering it for NBC. It was
Yeah,
so much
I was
fun.
in the stands with the
Well,
people.
you're really hurt that I
wasn't
rooted for-
pretending to be there. I didn't send out a picture of me at Comiskey from 1996. I was at the game.
I was in Cleveland in July. I was at Progressive Field in July.
And by the way, someone else, the only other person that I've been able to identify that's excited about this is Bob Newhart.
Yeah. Did you follow him on Twitter? Isn't he cute?
He's very funny. He's one of my favorite comedians. He gave an interview to the Tribune. He talking about his Cub fandom, even though he's been in L.A. for the last 40 years.
All right. Once a Cub fan, always a Cub fan.
Yeah, I suppose. He said on the finding material in unrequited devotion. Newhart said, "I'm in my stand-up. I always said that I'm a Cub fan, and it kind of prepared you for life. You know, you're ahead now, but you're going to screw it up somehow. You don't know how, or you don't know what it's going to be, but you know you're bound to screw it up." And so the question is, I mean, when you have two teams with a history of choking in a Game 7, you know, something's got to give, and of course that'll be the Cubs.
No, it's not going to be the Cubs.
No.
They're on a roll. I'm telling you. And then all my friends that are there were so sweet and tweeting me and texting me the whole game and making me feel awful. But they said the Cleveland fans were so unbelievably rude, saying like dropping F-bombs and get the HE double hockey sticks out of town. They said it was bad.
Oh heavens! Some jeering for Cubs fans in opponents' ball. Get the heck out of here! Oh
Hit the
my
road.
gosh!
Go back to Chicago! They screamed
Go
in their
back
faces.
where you came from, you. Oh my God! The ugliness of it all.
But who wants
at
to?
a major league ballpark, no less.
Why don't we go? Why don't we take right after at 9:00? We can drive to Cleveland, make it for Game 7, and then drive back. I mean, really, what could go wrong? Because even if you can't, standing room only right now is $1,000, but they have that great area, and you know this, between Quicken Loans and Progressive Field, which is an open bar. Remember, there's a stage there, and there's a bar, and it's a great place to congregate. So even if you can't get in the game, you're at the game.
I don't think I'm going to be the Thelma to your Louise. Sorry. Greg in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, first of all, Amy, we're really proud of you that you brought back that win last night. You know, that was great.
Brought back that win
But-
from where? Lakeview? She wasn't there.
Wrigleyville.
Wait a minute now. Don't blow my time here. This is really hugely important. Do you realize that Amy could be the next Bartman? Because if we lose tonight and Amy's not there, it's all going to be on Amy.
Right.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
right.
That's why
All
we're
right,
going to
thanks,
drive
Greg.
there. Dan, you drive fast. We can get there in 4 hours.
We could.
But I don't want to.
Correct.
So
See my previous tweet on the topic. Ziff in Hyde Park.
So mean.
Oh, Dan, on this one, I think you're going to have to use one of your big words. You're going to have to subjugate to Amy.
Oh.
Because remember now, you were in the Cleveland aisle, and Amy was down 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
She's back 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, like Obama said, you have to sit in the back seat on this one, Dan.
Oh, boy. Wow. All right.
Ziff, I like it.
All right. Thanks, Ziff. Here's something for all your Lakeview liberal friends, Amy, and all the Lakefront liberal Cubs fans. I just want to remind them that it took a conservative family of entrepreneurial capitalists to wrest control away from the Tribune Company and put the Cubs within one game of doing something they haven't done in 108 years, It'll probably take another 100 years. But nonetheless, a conservative, get that through your head, liberals, conservative Joe Ricketts and his clan.
You know how Michelle Malkin said you have to embrace the suck when it comes to Donald Trump? You have to embrace the suck when it comes to the Chicago Cubs. This is a big deal. We should be talking about this for 4 hours today.
All right. If you guys could come in here and take her over to the score.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'll take a ride to Cleveland. Today, our forecast is going to look like this. It's not as warm as yesterday, but still mild for this time of year. A high of 68 degrees with a couple of showers and thunderstorms later this afternoon. Tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm this evening. And then tomorrow's pleasant with some clouds and sun, a high of 60 degrees. Let's get the latest on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Carroll Stream got a crash at Schmally and North Avenue. Got one reported now on northbound I-55 at 53. No delay yet, but expect it soon. On Ryan, a little slow, 18th into downtown Chicago. Just a 1 or 2 minute delay. Same goes for both I-57 and the Bishop Ford approaching the Ryan. The other expressways and tollways right now are fine. I'm Jim Talamonte of the AM 560 Traffic Center.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com wants you to take some time for yourself to relax, renew, recharge. And here's a perfect way to lower your stress level and bring balance to your life. Dan, we suggest you take a visit to the Primal Ocean Salt Cave in LaGrange. Your stress begins to disappear.
I'm going to need to if the Cubs win Game 7.
Your stress begins to disappear when you step into the pink Himalayan salt cave or float on a bed of water that envelops you in color and warmth. Make time for deep relaxation in the aqua massage bed or feel renewed with the Ionic Detox foot bath. Experience it all. All of these packages normally retail for $65 to $70, but they're only $40 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Primal Ocean Salt Cave spa treatments are a great way to take a vacation from the everyday. Plus, you stay fully clothed and dry the entire time. Wonder how that happens. You'll love how calm and refreshed you'll feel, so if you haven't tried this yet, do it now. The Primal Ocean Salt Cave deals are very limited. For more healthy deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Peter forgot to order supplies for the office, and the boss is not happy.
Peter, we're out of toilet paper.
I'm sorry, boss. I'll order supplies right now. They should be here by next week.
Next week?
Peter really needs to call Combined Sales. Combined Sales has the products and solutions your business can't live without. From paper to pens, packaging, janitorial and safety supplies, and food service, Combined Sales to the rescue. They're local and can get you the supplies needed to keep your business running smoothly, fast, and at a great price. Plus, you'll deal with real people, not just another faceless internet site. You'll have an outside rep, an inside rep, and a customer service rep. Right now, Combined Sales has a presidential offer for new customers. This is huge. Open a business account today, order $500 in supplies, and you'll earn 5% in Co-op reward dollars on all purchases for the next 3 months. Plus, receive a bonus $50 Co-op reward. Request an account set up today at CombinedSales.com. CombinedSales.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. All right.
Just smile just for a second. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You got there first. I mean, the White Sox got there first. It's all right.
I understand the White Sox 2005 world champions went 11-1 in the playoffs.
Oh.
Yeah. I just want to remind you that.
Okay. It's all right.
11-1 on their way to a championship. I know the ESPN forgets that. They forget it even occurred. The Chicago Tribune forgets it even
the
occurred.
Washington
we don't.
Post.
We don't forget.
Poor. I do feel bad for you on that one. But I'm over it now.
I reject your empathy. I despise your pity. Yeah. You just save it on the north side. You're going to be feeling pretty bad when Corey Kluber throws another gem tonight.
Okay. Wait, let's make a bet.
Okay.
You want to bet?
All right. You want to bet Game 7?
I want to bet Game 7.
Okay. What is it?
All right. Some of our volleyballs were accidentally deflated and stolen. These volleyballs you speak of.
How many fracking volleyballs does this girls' team need?
We're on a roll. I mean, please. I would like $100 for volleyballs.
All right.
And then what do you like? What would you like for me?
I would like $100 for my pocket.
Okay. $100?
Yeah.
Payday's Friday. All right. Shake on it.
All right.
Oh,
there you go.
There goes lunch for the kids next week. I have this thing called children that I have to feed.
I'll even give you the line.
Okay.
If you can find it online without the help of Marcus Brown, our program director. If you can find it online, then I'll give you that because I figure Cleveland would probably be like minus 120.
Okay.
Meaning, that'd be a couple extra shekels for you.
All right.
If the Cubs won.
No, when.
All right. So here's the fun email from John Podesta. Did you see this?
I heard about it. Oof.
Newly leaked email from Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. And keep this in mind when you hear Hillary Clinton on the stump, as she was in Florida yesterday, decrying things Donald Trump has said about women and other people. The commercial that's on the air where he impersonates that disabled New York Times reporter, right? And how
cerebral palsy.
And we've heard from people, and I understand it, people who are the parents of special needs children who find what that impersonation repulsive and disqualifying, and I understand that. I understand the indignation with the juvenile conduct of Trump in that instance. What about this, though? Again, whatever flaw one of the candidates has, the other candidate has it as well, and it just is a question of degree. So back to the John Podesta email of just March of last year. People tell me that Hillary is acting like a retard since her head injury. Frankly, considering her normal behavior, I'm surprised anyone noticed. Parentheses, this is a joke. If you have to say it's a joke, John, then perhaps it's not so funny. Have someone talk to her doctor and see if there's anything he can give her. Say like a retard. That's a pejorative. That is not an acceptable way to talk about people. It's a
remember Rahm Emanuel did when he was a congressman. He did the same thing. He was using the R word. He didn't even say that word. It's so despicable.
Barack Obama, I bowled like I was Special Olympics. Remember, he was on Jay Leno's show. But I guess when the left makes such intemperate remarks, it's okay. Podesta's email goes on. This is the fun part. Also, I've noticed she has an odor lately. It reminded me.
Oh my gosh!
It reminded me of a combination of boiled cabbage, urine, and gas. I'm guessing it's either.
These two are friends?
He's a campaign chairman. I'm guessing it's either connected to her fall or simply the fact that she rarely bathes. Outside of encouraging.
Where did you find this email? This email's awesome.
Outside of encouraging her to take a shower once in a while, I don't know what to do about this. Any suggestions would be appreciated. JP. So, one of the big things,
Carney smells like cabbage.
Yeah.
From that line from the movie.
Oh, boy, that is vivid. I can almost smell that, and I don't want to.
It is very vivid in the details there.
I think the fact that
she brought the smell to life.
She rarely showers. Anybody get any ideas how we could get the stink off Hillary Clinton? 312-642-5600. We'll take your ideas. We'll pass them along to John Podesta and the campaign team. Try and help out here with at least that stink associated with Hillary Clinton.
I thought you were talking about the dumping, like we need to dump those emails. But
that was the email to Cheryl Mills.
That was the one. Yeah, I know, but that was the email du jour yesterday that people were talking about. Instead of that amazingly descriptive, stinky email from John Podesta. Wow. How does it? Well, you've worked with some candidates sometimes, and you have to change their image or their hair, or
their clothes. Yeah.
Then how does that conversation go?
No, I've never had the odor conversation with a campaign team about the candidate. Most of the candidates I've worked for bathe regularly. I didn't think that was a novelty, but the one point of order, I don't work on the side of the Democrats.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Second Amendment Sports is a beautiful new 4,000 square foot retail showroom with one of the largest selections of firearms and accessories in northern Illinois, plus 14 premium ventilated shooting lanes. You'll save too because you won't pay Cook County firearms or ammunitions taxes. Hey, it's all here at Second Amendment Sports in downtown McHenry. From the novice to the most experienced shooter, a Second Amendment Sports gift card makes the perfect Christmas gift. Use it for safety class classes, CCW classes, or an affordable membership offering range time and loads of benefits. The atmosphere is upscale and sophisticated. Friendly, knowledgeable staff will take care of all your needs. Company or group outings are available, so book early. Call 815-385-5522 or visit secondamendsports.com. Open 7 days a week. That's 815-385-5522 or online at secondamendsports.com. That's secondamendsports.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys, President Obama wants you to check yourselves. Aren't you a little bit sexist if you're not voting for Hillary Clinton? Take your calls at 538.
And later, Dan, she's back. Machada in Contigo with Hillary Clinton. We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
62 degrees, and we're watching developments in Des Moines, Iowa this morning where 2 police officers are dead. A shooter on the loose for what's being described as an ambush-style attack overnight.
In all appearances, it looks just like that these officers were ambushed.
State officials launching a manhunt at this hour for the suspect or suspects, although police right now say they're working with very few details other than a loose vehicle description, according to Sergeant Paul Perizek of the Des Moines Police. The FBI defending its decision to release documents from a 2001 investigation in connection to President Bill Clinton. The investigation involved a pardon of a former hedge fund trader, Mark Rich, and his father. The issuing of files on Twitter drew a quick response from Democrats already angry over FBI Director James Comey's decision to tell Congress he was reopening the Hillary Clinton private email server investigation. Donald Trump on the stump in Wisconsin asking early voters to switch their vote, which they can in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is one of several states where you can change your early ballot if you think you've made a mistake. A lot of stuff has come out since you voted.
The Republican nominee called Hillary Clinton the candidate of yesterday. He says he is the campaigner of the future. Hillary Clinton insisting that Trump cannot be trusted with America's nuclear stockpile.
When a journalist told Donald Trump that people were worried about how casually he talks about nuclear weapons, he said, well, then why are we making them?
Polls continue to show a very tight race in Florida, where Clinton was campaigning yesterday. Alabama's governor issuing a state of emergency after the explosion of a gasoline pipeline on Monday. Jurors will likely hear instructions later today in the multi-million-dollar defamation lawsuit against Rolling Stone magazine. Attorneys spent most of yesterday delivering their closing arguments about the retracted rape story, Rape on Campus. Chicago Cubs bats arrived early. Cubs beat the Indians last night 9-3 to force a deciding Game 7 in the World Series. Big League ERA leader Kyle Hendricks will toe the rubber against Cleveland ace Corey Kluber. Chicago Teachers Union has approved a contract with its leaders, negotiated with the Chicago Public Schools. More than 70% of teachers approved that contract. Patrick Kane, a goal and 2 helpers for the Blackhawks last night in a win over Calgary. Bulls expect guard Michael Carter-Williams to be out about 4 weeks with a injury to his left knee and wrist. Bulls clashing with the Celtics tonight in Boston. The news, a service of Subway. Kick off the season with a feast catered by Subway restaurants featuring giant subs or sandwich platters and sides. Do game day right. Place your order today. Please allow 24-hour notice for giant sub orders. 5:33, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Do you realize there's collusion everywhere when it involves the Clintons?
The Sean Hannity Show.
That's the word. You got collusion, the Clinton campaign and the Justice Department. You've got collusion, Clinton campaign and the White House. Because why? Oh, maybe we should hold back these emails between Obama and Clinton because Obama, we got to clean up his mess. Don't you get sick of being lied to?
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spraveri, CEO of Spraveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spraveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
5:35, AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Right now, it's all clear on the Edens and the Kennedy. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower. Northbound I-55, stop and go Weber Road to be 453. Again, this morning, there's a crash. This one blocks the left lane. And on Ryan, 18 minutes, 9 to 50 downtown. Up on Pond at 15. I-57, 23 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Bishop 420. The tollways are fine right now. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples. You can save up to $100. For a limited time, see staples.com for details. Restrictions, limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business. Since 1935. Cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly later in the day, high 68. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm early this evening, 48. Clouds tomorrow morning, sunshine in the afternoon, and a high near 60. 62 at O'Hare, 65 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Obama's on the trail yesterday. He's in Ohio for Hillary. And he's got a message to the dudes out there. You know, Mr. Cool Dude. The man that you want to be, all you guys out there.
All you cats, you silly little cats. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was the message?
The ladies want him and the men want to be him. That's President Obama, don't you know?
Hey, Michelle Obama gets jealous because a lot of women give him their cards.
Oh, yeah.
They want to be with
sure.
him.
Hey, I got a bike helmet. Maybe we could go for a bike ride. I've got the same pair of jeans you do.
I was going to say, hey, I need my jeans back.
I throw the ball the same way you do. I know about as much about sports as you do.
Well, I'm surprised if he was in Ohio, he didn't stop by the World Series. Game 6.
I'm a Manchurian candidate for the radical left, just like you are. There's so much commonality. He thinks there's something afoot, though, with guys not voting for Hillary Clinton. The gender gap that Hillary Clinton is experiencing with men in America. So men, listen up, and you tell me if President Obama's not onto something here, huh? Come on, let's be honest with ourselves, guys.
I just want to say it to the guys out there. I want to be honest. You know, there's a reason why we haven't had a woman president before. And I think that sometimes, you know, we're kind of trying to get over the hump.
Yeah.
And we have to ask ourselves as men, because I hope my daughters are going to be able to achieve anything they want to achieve.
Yeah, wow.
And I know that my wife is not just my equal, but my superior.
No, there's the pander. Yeah.
I want us.
Those two could do an According to Jim spinoff.
I want every man out there who's voting to kind of look inside yourself and ask yourself, well, if you're having problems with this stuff, how much of it is, that we're just not used to it?
Yeah,
So that,
yeah.
You're scared.
When a guy's ambitious and out in the public arena and working hard, well, that's okay. But when a woman suddenly does it, suddenly you're all like, well, why is she doing that?
Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, boy, he really cut to my core.
Wow. So if Hillary's not president, his daughters will not succeed in life. Okay. Yeah.
Well, they take one step back. How about
Okay.
if Hillary's not president, it's because of male sexism.
And that too.
And so,
But you guys are already rapists, so I mean, really, being sexist doesn't matter.
So you guys out there, all you dudes who voted for Joni Ernst in Iowa, or Nikki Haley in South Carolina, or Mary Phelan in Oklahoma, or Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire,
Or Susan Martinez in New Mexico.
Susanna Martinez in New Mexico, or so many other. How about Mia Love in Utah? You conservative guys voted for a black female conservative, Mia Love in Utah, for example, and on and on and on. All of you dudes who voted for those Republican female office holders at the statewide level, at the federal level. Hey, man, stop being so sexist. I'll tell you what, Obama and in Ohio yesterday, and Hillary Clinton running her own track on the sexism angle.
Oh yeah,
against Trump and Trump supporters. That to me smacks of desperation.
Oh yeah,
that's the best you've got to close the show, is to try and recycle that charge, trot out Alicia Machado. Okay, you're telling me you're in deep straits in Florida, and frankly, everywhere else.
Well, she's trying to remind women, because she needs the woman vote, especially undecided women, that Donald Trump has said nasty things about women. So she brought out your favorite drink, Machado. Here she is.
He said to me, Miss Piggy, Miss Housekeeping, is really clear that he does not respect women.
Does not respect. And this is a woman who's appeared in softcore porn, who's, she's done some other things too, but to
She's
bring her back, to go back to
everything
the
she
well.
wants to achieve, and that's wonderful.
Back to the well. Hillary Clinton reminded women that Donald Trump is a bully towards women.
We called her Miss Piggy.
I know we
Called
just
her
heard her
Miss
say
Housekeeping
that.
because she's a beautiful Latina. He brought a bunch of reporters to a gym to watch him order her around to exercise. Now, he also said this is somebody who likes to eat. Well, I have to say, who doesn't like to eat?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like to eat?
Yeah,
huh?
I heard it twice the first time. So here's the thing. Hillary Clinton talking about Alicia Machado and Alicia Machado talking about Alicia Machado has the same beneficial impact to them that Trump talking about Trump has to him, which is to say it's negative.
Yeah, they went negative again with the campaign. They went back to the well.
No, it's negative impact on them. In other words, this is precisely what I said before. This is desperation. If they're not talking about something that's forward-looking with respect to the interests of the American people, they're talking about the slights they've suffered at the hands of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton emoting vicariously through Alicia Machado about that to other women. Good luck with that. That doesn't move the needle an iota. And it's interesting to note the contrast between all the gals, including Obama, trying to play the sexism card, and what Trump and Pence were talking about in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Trump and Pence focused on Obamacare.
Yeah, repealing Obamacare.
That's the mark of a confident campaign that's making a positive close about policy that will impact the lives of Americans. Hillary Clinton, incredibly, is trying to focus on tearing down a candidate who's about as unpopular as you can be, tearing him down just a little bit more because that's the only path for her to try and change the headline and pull him back a couple of points in places like Florida. It's fascinating.
But as somebody who was, I'm not 100% committed to Donald Trump, this action from Hillary Clinton is driving me toward Donald Trump. I know.
Well, that's my point.
I know,
yeah, that's my
point.
point.
I'm just saying, I know what Donald Trump said. I've listened, at point of nauseum to the Billy Bush interview.
That's been covered.
That's been covered.
Yeah,
we got
right.
that.
Yeah.
But to go back there, I mean, clearly they just want to remind women why we don't like Donald Trump or why we shouldn't like Donald Trump. And it wasn't effective.
Well,
but she's trying to pivot off the emails. She's trying to, to do something. What else is she going to focus on? We've never heard her immigration plan.
Oh, you're not going to hear
there's
plans.
three fronts. You've got, obviously, the Donna Brazier. I have to call her Brazier.
Yeah.
Donna Brazier, that she fed her questions for a CNN town hall debate. And also, there's other things that she can focus on also with, hold on 1 second, the Obamacare premiums. I mean, so she can't talk about Obamacare because that's flailing right now. Premiums are going up and deductibles are high. So what else can she focus on besides what Donald Trump has said about women?
Well, for all of you sexists out there who have been moved by President Obama's words that you heard, there's some good news, at least for those who live in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. If you've already early voted for Donald Trump, this is kind of incredible. Could you imagine this here? You can actually change your ballot in those states. We had a call yesterday. Can you change your early vote? And I was just thinking about Illinois, so I know the answer is no. But in these
Wisconsin last night.
In 3 battleground states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, you can.
Yeah, Donald Trump was in Wisconsin reminding people. I'd never heard of this before.
This is a message for any Democratic voter who have already cast their ballots for Hillary Clinton and who are having a bad case of buyer's remorse. You can change your vote to Donald Trump will make America great again, okay?
I mean,
How does it work, though?
Well, you cancel your absentee ballot vote, and then you get another ballot, or you vote in person. That the laws differ slightly between the states, but that's effectively what they allow. Boy, I didn't do-overs in voting.
Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, what other state?
Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan are the 3 battleground states.
Wow, and 26 million Americans have already voted.
Yeah,
that's great. That's twice as much as 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's early. I mean, late adopters to early voting. People are putting way too much stock in that. All these people early voted, and the indications look over the Democrats. The indications are mixed because one of the other indications is that black turnout isn't what Hillary Clinton needs, and that's been a part of the discussion you've probably heard as well. Let's go to Patty on the Northwest Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. The reason why I was calling is in Obama's speech, he's talking about Michelle Obama as his wife. She's not his equal. He called her a superior.
Yeah.
Now, that's their message. I thought we were supposed to be equals.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Putting women above men.
He's just pandering to his...
But I know, but we really need to focus on these never Trump men. Is this what they want to subscribe to? I mean, women being above men, we're supposed to be equal?
Yeah. Thanks for the call,
well,
Patty.
Michelle wears the pants in the family.
I think we need to focus on these liberal dink men and shame them as less than men. Pathetic. Pathetic. Listen to this guy. Are you kidding me? And you can look at yourself in the mirror? You can wear pants today? And you're going to vote for Hillary Clinton? Pathetic. Love to hear from some male impersonator voting for Hillary Clinton. 312-642-5600. We'll put you to the front of the queue. Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin.
Hey, how you doing? I just came back from the Dakotas, chasing the elusive ringneck pheasant. I
nice.
saw a lot of homemade Trump signs, and also you guys are talking about Florida all the time. The Cuban population down in Florida are not going to vote for Hillary Clinton for what they did to that kid that they sent back to Cuba. And another group of people that they're constantly forgetting and they don't really think about are the Orthodox people in this country. They do not care for the Muslims coming into this country. And the next thing is the Serbians. The Serbians were bombed by Bill Clinton. Those peoples were our allies in World War I and World War II, the Chechen fighters. And because of some problems they were having with the Albanians, Muslims, Bill Clinton went in and bombed those people. Right. And that's something nobody's talking about. And that group of Orthodox people in this country is huge. Thank you very much.
That was also the bombing in Belgrade. It was also during the whole Monica Lewinsky scandal, so we weren't really focused on it.
Glad to have you back from the Badlands, Chuck and Delavan. Ed in Oakbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you know what? Even the first time she ran against Obama, did she ever say anything positive about white males? She's always been against them. Equal pay for women. That means that the white males are keeping women down. She's always appealing to everyone but the white male. Blacks, Hispanics, illegal immigrants, legal immigrants, Muslims, illegal Muslims. She never even made an attempt to get the white male vote. I don't understand why any white male, no matter what you are, would even consider voting her. Nothing in her platform is going to help you at all. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Ed.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, mostly cloudy, a couple showers and thunderstorms later in the afternoon, a high of 68 degrees. Tonight, if you're heading down to Wrigley to celebrate outside or maybe inside, there's still a possibility that might happen. We could have some rain and a thunderstorm, so bring an umbrella. And then tomorrow, pleasant with some clouds, then sun, a high of 60 degrees. Anything pleasant on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, aiming out on the inbound ride, have a crash in the express lanes right approaching the Stevenson Expressway. And it's jammed in the express from 35th to that point. The locals do have delays from 35th pretty much all the way in. Looking at 22 minutes from 95th to downtown due to that 4-car crash. The outbound side is fine. I-57 is 25 minutes. I-80 to the Murray, Bishop 420. Edens and the Kennedy are clear. About Eisenhower, you've got a 2-minute delay now between Manheim and Des Plaines Avenue. Northbound I-55, so Weber to 53 after a crash. Then Harlem to Pulaski. 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Tollways are good, Northwest Indiana too. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Market knowledge, in-house underwriting, low rates, and closing costs are what makes me one of the country's top loan officers. My team of experienced loan officers is committed to helping you with your next real estate transaction. If you complete an online application with the company in love with their rockets or the guy with the big red blowhorn, somebody in a Hotbox call center returns your call. When you complete an online application at am560david.com, either me or one of my experienced professional loan officers calls you back and answers all of your questions. If you want to work with a loan officer who appreciates and values your business, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License T4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome to Move Time Radio, presented by the Arthritis Foundation, and we're smack dab in the middle of our dance-a-thon to fight arthritis pain. Me, I've been grooving for 10 hours straight, baby, but I'm a boogie machine. See, movement is just one of the ways to help fight osteoarthritis pain. Another is weight loss. You get rid of just 1 pound. That's 4 pounds of pressure off each knee. For more information on managing pain, visit fightarthritispain.org. Then meet me on the dance floor. This message brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I got to issue a retraction. Gosh, that's too bad.
What, the Cubs really didn't win Game 6 to
no,
tie the
that
series?
happened. That John Podesta email, the last time I read ClashDaily.com and a couple other websites that had it.
Splash Gordon? What was it, Clash Daily?
So the Hillary email, the Podesta email that accuses Hillary of having a foul odor and of acting, quote unquote, like a retard. That was in the email. That's apparently a fake.
Oh, no, but it was so good. Oh, she smelled like cabbage and had little hands.
The way they presented
like
with
they
presented it with the WikiLeaks indicia, and so I didn't fact check it. That's on me. That's a bad one. I retract. I apologize for the misleading content earlier in the program.
I don't want it to be fake, Dan.
I don't want it to be fake either, but it is. So we have to own our mistakes, Amy.
Can't we read it again? Because it's so funny.
No,
just
no.
pretend that
I'm not going to double down. No, I will not. All right, one other point of order. I'm so disappointed.
You're so sad. I mean, it's bad enough the Cubs are.
I just can't catch a break in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Paul Ryan, taking a lot of heat from Trump supporters for his distancing himself from the Trump campaign.
Well, Trump was campaigning in Wisconsin last night, and Paul Ryan was not around, and that could have greatly helped, I think, Donald Trump if he was with him.
But he was on, maybe. But he was on Fox and Friends yesterday, and he did say, I voted for Donald Trump, and I'm supporting the Republican ticket up and down the ballot.
Well, I stand where I stood all fall and all summer. In fact, I already voted here in Janesville for our nominee last week in early voting. We need to support our entire Republican ticket.
So you voted for Donald Trump, and you're encouraging Republicans and Democrats and independents, anybody who will listen, to vote for Donald Trump to stop what you're talking about with the Clinton corruption.
I am supporting our entire Republican ticket. I
Of
have
course.
been all along. What my focus, which has not changed at all.
Why can't he just say the words, I voted for Donald Trump?
What
is wrong with attaching? Is there some stigma attached to it if he says he voted for Donald Trump? Will that hurt him politically in the future?
It's just trying to be consistent with his distancing from Trump previously, I suppose. So it's a lukewarm. I get that. But it's a lot better than, say, writing in John McCain.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Ladies, you work hard. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, work outside the home, or both, your sacrifices may have affected your appearance. Well, I have some great news. I'm excited to tell you about Bert and Will Plastic Surgery and Laser Center. Childbearing, breastfeeding, weight gain, weight loss, or just normal aging, I know, can affect our appearance. Unfortunately,
in the spring of 1971,
makeover. It includes a tummy
I met a girl.
With the new
After the class, I followed her out.
Dr. Will specializes in Botox.
Well, she's insatiably curious.
You can
I just
uncover
went ahead
the
and
beauty
asked her to
within.
take a walk.
Doctors Bert and
After the
Will are
first
female
month
board-certified plastic surgeons.
and that first walk,
Curious? Well, I
I
met them
actually
and I
drove
love
her
them.
home to
You'll
Park-
receive a free consultation at any of their Chicagoland offices or register for an upcoming seminar. Call 630-930-3555 or visit uncovermybeauty.com. 630-930-3555 or uncovermybeauty.com.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Dr. Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery agree.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in Arlington Heights, Elgin, and Lake Zurich. As an oral surgeon and business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that responds quickly and creatively and understands the unique needs of healthcare practices. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner partners help me grow my practice and seize opportunities as they come up. Whether it's a line of credit, financing equipment, or real estate, Cornerstone is there for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
When Uma met Hillary at 6:06.
But first, into the newsroom we go with all the news, especially big Game 7 tonight in Cleveland and activities around Wrigley Field. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we're tracking several developing stories. That and 2 Iowa police officers are dead. A shooter on the loose in what's being described as ambush-style attacks overnight. Fox with the latest on that developing story in just a moment. Chicago Cubs bats arrived just in time to force a deciding Game 7 at the World Series. CTU approves a new contract. Chicago aldermen vote to remove the Trump Plaza honorary sign, and the Blackhawks foil the Flames with a 4-goal third. Mostly cloudy, couple of showers in your weather forecast. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. There is a cop killer on the loose in Iowa.
These officers were ambushed.
2 officers murdered early this morning, found shot just a few miles apart within minutes of each other.
It doesn't look like there was any interaction between these officers and whoever the coward is that shot them while they sat in their cars.
Des Moines Sergeant Paul Perezek teared up talking about the shootings. One victim was a Des Moines officer, the other from Urbandale. The gunman still, again, on the loose.
We hope we find him before anybody else gets hurt. We definitely don't want anybody in the public or in the community to get hurt.
The election is just 6 days away.
If you know anybody who's thinking about voting for Trump, well, first of all, stage an intervention.
Hillary Clinton in Florida attacked Donald Trump over his treatment of women and taxes, and also said she's sick of the dark, divisive things Trump supporters are saying. Trump attacked Clinton in Wisconsin over the FBI's renewed probe into her emails, telling those who've already voted for her.
Wisconsin is one of several states where you can change your early ballot if you think you've made a mistake.
Trump also, again, vowing to repeal Obamacare if elected. He announced a big speech about that in Pennsylvania. He'll rally in Florida today. Clinton will go to Nevada, then Arizona, states where polls show a very close race. The baseball season will end tonight after the Cubs forced a Game 7. Fox's Jared Max live at Cleveland's Progressive Field.
Both teams, Dave, have been waiting for generations for the World Series win, and only fitting they'll wait a little longer. Thanks to the Cubs, who beat the Indians 9-3 in a must-win Game 6 last night, baseball fans will be treated to a winner-take-all Game 7 this evening, right here at Progressive Field. The first pitch is at 8 o'clock Eastern. Kyle Hendricks throws for Chicago. Corey Kluber starts his 3rd game of the series for the Indians. Cubs hit 3 home runs last night, including a grand slam by Addison Russell, who tied a World Series record with 6 RBI. Dave?
Thank you, Jared. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
62 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Cubs bats woke up and beat the Indians last night 9-3 to force a deciding Game 7 in the World Series. The offense led by Addison Russell with a grand slam.
Just been the same work ethic, since day one. Not doing anything different. Made some pretty good swings tonight. Definitely the confidence is up for tomorrow.
Chris Bryant had 4 hits. Anthony Rizzo went deep. Jake Arrieta cruised to the victory. Here's a little Game 7 World Series history to chew on for you. Pirates beat the Tigers 8-0 in the first conclusive Game 7 in 1909. However, the guy that got the win was pitching for the 3rd time in that series. A guy named Babe Adams got the shutout. And again, victory number 3 in that series. Corey Kluber, of course, going for his 3rd victory for the Indians in the contest tonight against big league ERA leader Kyle Hendricks. In other news this morning, authorities are searching for the driver of a hit and run that seriously injured a 3-year-old boy on Chicago's southwest side. Police say a vehicle hit Patrick Zabelet Monday evening as he was crossing the street with his family near 63rd in Natchez. The child remains hospitalized in critical condition. Chicago Teachers Union approves the contract its leaders negotiated with the Chicago Public Schools. More than 70% of teachers voted to accept that tentative agreement. 2 Notre Dame football players arrested on marijuana charges may avoid jail time and criminal records after reaching plea agreements with prosecutors in Northwest Indiana. Patrick Kane had a goal and 2 assists for Chicago last night. Blackhawks beat Calgary 5-1. Bulls clash with the Celtics later on tonight in Boston. And the news, a service of American Express. Hey, American Express card members, you don't want to miss this. Now through December 31st, there's a big reason for you to shop small at local stores in your neighborhood. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop-small-offer. Terms apply. 6:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You know what? I want to tell you something, America.
The Joe Walsh Show.
We ask our cops to do an ugly, impossible job. And way too many of us hate on them every day. I'll tell you what, America, you are going to wake up, so help me God, America, you are going to wake up one day without police officers in this country. And you will deserve it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. 1 click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill 1 position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just 1 click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/connect. That's ZipRecruiter.com/connect. ZipRecruiter.com/connect.
6:05, let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound ride, it's heavier in the express lanes than the locals after an earlier crash near the Stevenson. 24 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 5 at 15. I-57 runs 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 21. Edens is fine. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at the River Road toll and continue to Cumberland, then Austin to Central. 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. The Eisenhower's 37 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31 minutes. Stevenson 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Eastbound Adams Tollway a little heavy for the Tri-State to the River Road toll, Kennedy. Traffic, service of accountants. The 2017 salary guide is here. Check it out for instant access. The up-to-date salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. Visit them at AccountTemps.com. AccountTemps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly later in the day. High of 68. Tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm for the evening. Otherwise, mainly cloudy with a low 48. Some clouds followed by sunshine tomorrow. High 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
62 at O'Hare, 65 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Stop by and try their food before planning your awesome corporate event menu. Visit tastycatering.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This is Russell. Cubs have forced the game 7. Winning it 9-3.
He does not have the temperament to be our commander-in-chief.
Across the spectrum, Americans know that Obamacare's got to be repealed and replaced.
I will ask Congress to convene a special session so we can repeal and replace.
And that only by electing Donald Trump as the next president of the United States and re-electing strong Republican majorities in the Congress will we get it done. And we will get it done.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I think now would be a time for some sweet memories as we come to the end of this election cycle, as we're nearing Election Day.
And as we're nearing the end of the 2016 baseball season.
You want to remember great loves like, Bill and Hillary, you remember.
In the spring of 1971, I met a girl.
And he and that girl could be riding off in the sunset in less than a week. So you want to remember one of the great love stories
of our time.
There's no question. And also this question, one of the great professional relationships, Uma and Hillary, bedeviled by the men they love.
Oh, yes.
I asked this question yesterday, but I want to revisit it. Do you think if it comes to it and Uma is faced with the choice of leveling up and implicating her boss, she'll roll? Or do you think she'll do the time for Hillary? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Will Uma rat out Hillary, if that's what it comes to? And before you answer that question.
Okay. Do you want me to chew on something?
I want you to contemplate this. Uma, in a rare interview, this is several months back in a podcast, talking about the first time she met Hillary.
Oh, this is going to be good.
And I remember being at the rally in Little Rock, and it was election night, and obviously he was reelected. And I remember being on the rope line, and there are thousands and thousands of people, and I was, with a whole bunch of my friends, and I had met her before, like I said, in this photo for 30 seconds. They come out, and the crowd's electric. It's these things that happen in your life that just stick. That she walked by and she shook my hand, and our eyes connected, and I just remember having this moment where I thought, wow, this is amazing, and it just inspired me, and I still remember the look on her face. And it's funny, and she would probably be so annoyed that I say this, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful and she's so little, and it's just sort of, because people look different on TV, and I just thought, wow. And I had such a fangirl moment, and I was hooked. And that sort of was my, that's my first kind of my memory.
Can I process that for a second?
I
that's a lot of love there.
I think those two are very much in love in a professional, platonic way, of course. Now,
well, they call her shadow. She's with her, and I heard too that she goes into her hotel room with her, and they have briefings there, just the two of them. She's like her daughter to her. Her husband Bill married Uma and Anthony Weiner. They're so intertwined, which is strange because sex scandals have brought down both men. Various ways.
That is what I think of Hillary and Uma. That is the word I think, intertwined. And I also think that if Hillary were to lose the election on Tuesday, that she and Uma may get a place in Portland, may open a feminist bookstore.
Feminist bookstore and a bed and breakfast.
Uma in that podcast also said of Hillary Clinton, I think that if my boss quit tomorrow, she will go down as one of the greatest American women in the history of the world. Oh, okay, greatest American women. It's a little bit disconnected, but greatest American women. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I didn't know she was raised in Saudi Arabia. She was born in Kalamazoo, but was raised there and came back to the States for college.
So after hearing that, I want to revisit my question. What do you think?
I'm having non sequitur moments over here.
Do you think Uma will stand fast behind her boss regardless of the consequences? Will she lay down her life for one of the greatest American women in the history of the world?
Well, I'm sure this separation right now has been hard. They have been apart now for 3 days. No, she's absent from the campaign trail. And Uma Abedin's lawyer said yesterday that she's cooperating with investigators, but she does not know what is on that laptop. So Uma, there might be a little love loss here because Hillary, she might give her a little spanking because she's upset that the emails were not deleted properly. I mean, maybe Hillary's like, you know what, I don't want to see her right now because I am so mad. She might bring down my dream of becoming president of the United States. My dream of becoming the first woman to ever be president of the United States. I used to care about that too. That was so important to me. And I thought, gosh, whoever becomes president of the United States, first female, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. to watch the swearing in.
Yeah.
I could care less about that right now.
And
my friends that we want to have a female ego in the White House.
Yeah.
This is not a female ego in the White House. This is just an ego in the White House.
Yeah.
So what about the two?
I'm burned from Brazil and Argentina recently in terms of female leadership. So otherwise, I would be on board with this. But now, Ms. Kirchner and Ms. Rousseff have hurt me, and I don't want to be hurt again.
Your Indian name would be Wounded Bird right now.
But I also, what do you think is the more doe-eyed relationship, Bill and Hillary or Uma and Hillary?
After the class, I followed her out, intending to introduce myself.
Yes.
I got close enough to touch her back, but I couldn't do it. Somehow I knew this would not be just another tap on the shoulder. That I might be starting something I couldn't stop.
So I sexually assaulted her. No, he didn't say that. But that
was at the DNC. Remember that? So I wanted to touch your back, but I didn't want to start something that I couldn't stop. It was so descriptive and just that was a soap opera script right there.
Also, an excerpt from Ben Rhodes' forthcoming novel. Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning.
Yes, good morning. I think that I have the same view of Amy on this. I don't think that she's ever going to say anything negative about Hillary, and she will lie and go to jail. But, we've got an election in 1 week, so if Hillary is elected, do you think there's a possibility of a pardon on the way?
Yes, I do. Actually, I think I think the only way that she does get pardoned is if she's victorious. Then I think you could see Obama do a preemptive pardon on his way out the door as the FBI is processing the emails and completing their renewed investigation. That's the only thing that makes sense. If she loses, he throws her to the wolves because he's done with her.
If Bill Clinton can pardon Mr. Rich for all the stuff he did, you don't think Hillary would pardon Uma? Come on, that's...
No. Oh, you're talking about Hillary pardoning Uma. Oh, well, sure. But I think there's a pardon in between there. If she's elected, it's Obama having to pardon Hillary first to kind of forestall this investigation that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Thanks
Uma
for the call, Jordan.
would fall on a sword. She would die for Hillary Clinton. She'd go to prison for him, kind of like what Jeb Bush said about his dad.
I love my dad. I'd kill for him. I'd go to prison for him because I love him so much.
I think the same love is there between Uma and Hillary as there is between Jeb and HW.
There's so much love this election cycle. That's what I like. That's why I love politics.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Engine 78, Dan, loves this topic, the love between Uma and Hillary.
Because firefighters are silly hearts just like we are. They like a great love story.
And so early in the morning. Today it's going to be cloudy, a couple of showers and thunderstorms later, a high of 68 degrees. Then tonight, for those of you heading down to Wrigleyville, just know that there's going to be some rain and possibly a thunderstorm. And tomorrow, pleasant. No rain in the forecast, just some clouds and sun, a high of 60 degrees. Let's get those travel times and some road closures around Wrigleyville. Here's Jim Telemonte with the latest.
Well, thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. In Elmhurst, got a crash on southbound 83 at Lake Street. Two right lanes are blocked there. The inbound Edens now is a little heavy. First on the spur past Waukegan Road, then from Peterson to the junction. 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower's now 39 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Slow Wolf to Harlem, outbound 36 minutes. Stevenson with delay starting at 53. 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. To Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 31 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 18. Eastbound Adams Tollway, really jammed from the Tri-State into that River Road toll. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Don't like what the big banks have been doing lately? Time to call Townstone. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. Do you have a jumbo mortgage, great credit, just want a smooth refinance with low or no closing costs and a great rate? Townstone Financial is the place to contact. We beat the big banks every day, and that's not just a saying. I had a call last week on a jumbo mortgage where a bank was charging $5,000 in closing costs. Not only was Townstone able to do the loan for no closing costs, but we were also able to beat the big bank's interest rate by a quarter point. Do yourself a favor. Check with Townstone before you refinance your mortgage or start a new home purchase. We will compete with anyone. Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. So call 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois Mortgage License C 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal Housing Lender.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dan Patlack, your taxpayer advocate, and Citizens for Dan Patlack paid for this ad.
Dan Patlack is gaining support. The Daily Herald says he speaks with youthful energy and passion about the agency's mission of assuring fairness to all. Patlack approaches the job not so much like a politician, but as a commissioner whose responsibility is to rule the way the evidence and numbers tell him to rule. The Chicago Tribune says Patlack is smart and diligent, and he tries to keep the system fair. The Sun-Times says Patlack has the better professional credentials. Dan Patlack promised and delivered improvements at our Board of Tax Review. Online appeals, online evidence submission, over 200 assessment appeal seminars to educate taxpayers about the appeal process, and increasing transparency, with all decisions available on the Board of Review website.
I appreciate the editorials, but the most important endorsement is yours on Election Day. With your vote on November 8th, I will fight unfair assessments and keep the Board of Review responsive to regular folks. I'm Dan Patlack. It is my privilege to serve you. Thank you.
If you're thinking about a memory foam or dial up your number bed, don't buy one just yet. Not until you experience the customizable bed everyone is talking about, the Reverie Dream Sleep System. Reverie uses patented Dream Cell mattress technology with over 200 adjustment points for the most comfortable sleep of your life. Call 866-965-7500 to learn why Hollywood A-listers, athletes, trainers, and doctors are raving about their Reverie beds. It might be Reverie's zero gravity setting that relieves pressure on your back, or the anti-snore function, or Reverie's 101-night guarantee. If you haven't had the most amazing sleep of your life, return it for a full refund. Want to know why celebrities, athletes, and doctors are switching to Reverie Dream Sleep Systems? Call now to find out. 866-965-7500 or visit Reverie.com. That's 866-965-7500 or REVERIE.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, just not so that we won't revisit this this love story, but on Uma Abedin, she is throwing Wiener under the bus.
Hey ho.
That's a visual. From the beginning, Miss Abedin has complied fully and voluntarily with the State Department and law enforcement requests, including sitting for hours-long interviews and providing her work-related and potentially work-related documents, said lawyer Karen Dunn. She also went on to say Uma only learned for the first time on Friday from press reports of the possibility that a laptop belonging to Wiener could contain emails of hers. The FBI has not contacted us about this, but Miss Abedin will continue to be forthcoming and cooperative. So
yeah, they found out while they're on the campaign trail on the plane, and they didn't have any connection to the internet. So the pictures that people had, they looked panic-stricken. I mean, Hillary and Uma and all the other aides that were on the plane,
and
because they didn't know what was going on, and that's when they found out when they were 30,000 feet in the air.
And I think they're still suffering from a bit of that panic because the last 2 days they have not really been able to move people off of this story, and I suspect they're not going to be able to for the last 6 days of the campaign either. But another issue that we want to tackle, Mike Scott's been reporting on it all morning as well. These two Iowa police officers who were murdered in tandem ambushes.
Yeah, they're still hunting for a gunman who shot and killed two officers in separate attacks that were 20 minutes apart. So one police officer was shot in his patrol car outside of Urbandale High School, which is in northwest Des Moines, at 1:06 a.m. And then a second police officer was found shot in his patrol car at 1:26 a.m., less than 2 miles away. And they say they were both ambush-style attacks. They're telling residents to lock your doors, lock your windows, stay inside right now. And they don't have a great description of this gunman, but it's pretty scary stuff. I mean, he could be planning his next attack, but they're both ambush-style attacks.
Yeah, and there was an ambush attack in New York City, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
And 2 officers killed in their car, but they were partners. They were in the same patrol car. This is a little bit different when you've got 2 separate locations and similar MOs, if you will. And it also re-raises the issue of domestic law enforcement in the context of this presidential campaign. It's kind of gone away, as we haven't had any high-profile police-involved shootings for the media to obsess about, or thankfully, up until this point, no violence toward police officers. Now we have, obviously, and so you wonder if Trump re-raises this issue in the closing days. I think he should. Because the domestic law enforcement, particularly with respect to big cities, is still a big issue. It hasn't gone away. Obviously, in Chicago, it hasn't gone away.
Well, did you hear what happened in Hyde Park yesterday and on Saturday night? These groups of high schoolers, they went to wreak havoc and to taunt Chicago police officers. So they were on social media. They said they were meeting at 53rd and Hyde Park Boulevard. And when the police officers showed up, they were swearing at them, flipping them off, acting like tough guys. I mean, it's sick, the lack of respect for police officers. No one was arrested because they were just, slinging insults at them. But that is the state that we live in right now.
That's a daily occurrence. And lest you have concern about the political leadership of the city of Chicago responding proportionally to the issue of violence on our streets, the issue that you raise of lack of respect for law enforcement officers, they're taking action yesterday. Voting to dump the remaining sign honoring Donald Trump in Chicago outside of Trump Tower.
Glad they have their priorities in line because that's so important. I was so offended by, the 2-foot-long, 6-inch-wide Trump sign.
Alderman said they're insulted by the way Trump keeps making Chicago sound like Baghdad. Didn't Spike Lee do a movie about that?
Called Chirac, yes. Oh, that was an awful movie. I bought it, and I really regret that I bought it.
It was a good play, and Spike Lee is not in the category of Aristophanes. That's the problem.
It didn't translate well into film.
Okay, well, good to know. I have not seen it, but I get the gist of it.
To, yeah.
And just remember where we're at in Chicago. In Chicago, we have not just more murders per capita than L.A. and New York combined this year. We have more murders in raw numbers than New York and L.A. combined. This city of fewer than 3 million people compared to those 2 metropolitan areas of, 11, 12 million people? 4 times the population of Chicago, fewer murders in raw numbers in addition to, adjusting for population, of course. And you're telling me that something isn't different here than in New York or L.A.? And you're telling me that it doesn't start with our political leadership? I mean, these 50 trained SEALs in the city council are worried about inert street signs. Interesting. Related story. Texas, Houston.
Can I say Houston, we have a problem just because I want to?
You can.
Houston, we have a problem. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem at the Belleville Cafe is the name. Belleville, Texas, about 60 miles from Houston, officially changed the name to Trump Cafe in honor of the businessman turned GOP hopeful, reports the local Fox affiliate there.
And let me guess, they had a rock thrown through their window.
No, not yet. I think you throw a rock through a business owner's window in Houston, expect return fire. The cafe's owner, Sue Hawa, he loves America, and we hope he will be president. People like the name. They're supporting him. The Belleville Cafe served modern takes on casual French fare, but the new menu features only American Trump-themed foods. Burger topped with cheese, bacon, barbecue sauce, and a chicken fried steak. I like it. I'm moving to Houston and going to Trump Cafe, and I'm taking that Trump sign from Trump Tower with me.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and I couldn't pay my bills. I was feeling so bad. I got to a point where I needed some help. So I reached out and contacted Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They were able to take all of my different payments and put them all together.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
And they were actually able to work with my creditors. I've been able to pay off close to $15,000 in the last 18 months.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Stephanie, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Hey, you've heard the name Turnkey IT for years on this radio station, and you know that they do something with IT for business. The truth is that Turnkey IT supports users, not simply computer devices. Now, the average consumer has just under 4 connected devices that they use daily: smartphones, tablets, laptops, desktops, and these devices connect to watches, thermostats, refrigerators. So the professionals at Turnkey IT help you connect all of them together so your company is as connected as you want it to be. Turnkey IT has a team of professionals who help users every day, just like you and me. From the simplest to the most complex systems, they make technology workable, usable, and reliable. So if you're tired of just settling for technology and want to really make your technology work for you, then you should do what I did and visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to get your tech world spinning. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump and Pence take shelter in Valley Forge, PA at 6:36.
And then later, details about Game 7 of the World Series. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 60 outside. Police in Iowa hunting for whoever shot and killed 2 police officers overnight in ambush-style attacks. Des Moines Police Sergeant Paul Parizek says it appears the officers had no contact with their attackers before being shot.
These guys were gunned down, sitting in their car, doing nothing wrong.
He says there's a clear and present danger in the Des Moines area right now. The public may be at risk. Police say the first officer was killed sitting alone in his patrol car in the suburb of Urbandale when he was shot. Only 6 days until the election until Election Day 2016, and candidates scrambling for votes in battleground states. Donald Trump will spend today in the key battleground state of Florida.
She is the candidate of yesterday. We are the movement of the future. We are.
He's rallying voters in Miami, Orlando, and Pensacola, while Hillary Clinton will rally voters in Nevada and Arizona.
He sure has spent a lot of time demeaning, degrading, insulting, and assaulting women.
Clinton arguing Trump is a bully. An essential gasoline pipeline for the Northeast and the Southeast could reopen this weekend after being shut down by a deadly explosion in Alabama. Philadelphia mass transit strike is in effect for a second day. Union President Willie Brown says SEPTA and the transit workers can't come to any agreement right now.
We couldn't come to agreement on certain things, simple things, as far as bathroom breaks, lunchtime for operators, run up down the scheduling, operator fatigue, things of that sort. So we couldn't come to any kind of agreement. So we're on strike as of right now.
The Transport Workers Union strike has brought the Southeast Pennsylvania Transportation Authority to a grinding halt. A mother in Washington State is charged with giving her 3 small children heroin, helping them to sleep, she says. 24-year-old Ashley Hutt was charged this week in Washington State. Turning our attention to the World Series, and the Cubs, the bats arrived just in the nick of time, and they were hot, beating the Indians 9-3 thanks to an Addison Russell grand slam.
Just been the same work ethic, since day one, not doing anything different. Made some pretty good swings tonight. Definitely the confidence is up for tomorrow.
Jake Arrieta cruised to the win. Big league ERA leader Kyle Hendricks will start tonight's Game 7. Chicago Teachers Union approves a contract its leaders had negotiated with the Chicago Public Schools. More than 70% of teachers apparently voted to accept that tentative deal. Patrick Kane a goal and 2 helpers. Blackhawks beat Calgary 5-1. Bulls clash with the Celtics tonight in Boston without guard Michael Carter-Williams, who will be out 4 to 6 weeks with injuries to a left knee and wrist. The news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone. Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media has a duty and an obligation to cover this election fairly. Does it seem fair to you? Or do we see more coverage about the problems of one side than the problems for the other side? When the so-called journalists put their thumb on the scale and attempt to influence the most important election of our lifetime, it makes you wonder, what do we have to do to win? There's only one thing left to do. Make sure you and like-minded people go vote. It's the only way to stop them from tipping the scales. The host on this station will keep reminding you right till the end. AM 560, The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Honey, I'm really worried about our retirement funds.
Oh, me too. We lost so much value in the recession in the stock market. I'm worried we won't have enough to retire.
Jim next door told me that he had set up a new kind of IRA with the Gold Silver Group. He said how simple and safe it was. It's a private storage IRA, and we could have real gold and silver in our hands.
Really? You mean we can actually see it and touch it?
Absolutely. Jim said we could have all the benefits of an IRA to help build our retirement income. Bottom line, we would own a real tangible asset, and we would have the security of knowing we're protected no matter what the economy does. What do you think?
I think we need to find out how to get our own private storage IRA. We need to call the Gold Silver Group right now.
Are you ready to protect your future? Call 800-296-8617 now to find out how easy and safe it is to set up a private storage IRA with Gold Silver Group. Get up to $995 in free silver on all qualified transactions. Ask how. All transactions have no startup fee, are privately delivered and fully insured. Please call us now. 800-296-8617. 800-296-8617.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
6:36. Check of the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound heat-ins, it's slow from Old Orchard to the junction. 29 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. The Kennedy now 31 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. There's a crash outbound at Lawrence. That's blocking the left lane. Inbound Eisenhower, 51 minutes from Thorndale to the post office. The outbound side, it is 36 minutes. Stevenson with inbound delays starting around 53. 51 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow 115th to the 83rd Street toll. Plainfield Road to 47th. From the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway heavy, Meacham to 53. Westbound Indiana Toll Road stop and go from 20 in East Chicago to Calumet Avenue. That's due to ongoing road construction. Traffic is a service of American Express. Hey, American Express card members, you don't want to miss this. Now through December 31st, there's a big reason for you to shop small at local stores in your neighborhood. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop small offer. Terms apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm later in the day. High 68. Already thunderstorms crossing the area north of the Wisconsin border from Lake Geneva into Milwaukee this morning. Rain and storms have popped up there already. Again, a thunderstorm could sink down to us later in the day. A low of 48 overnight, and a pleasant day ahead tomorrow, a high of 60. 60 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland's specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And
what a good morning it is.
Yeah, I know. You're positively giddy. It will last for about another...
What? Hey. Hey.
5, carry the 1.
Oh
maybe another 15 hours.
See this? Everybody can fly the W flag. That romp last night. 9-3, huh? Who saw that coming, huh? Stratomatic. Your Bible, baseball Bible, didn't see it coming. And you said that they tweeted you, right?
Yeah.
What did they?
We're happy. Effectively, we're happy to be wrong and see a Game 7. After getting the first 5 games correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not happy about it.
They're still partying in Wrigleyville.
You can't imagine the feeling right now. Down 3-1. We're gonna do this. We're gonna win. We're gonna come back. We're gonna win tomorrow. Yeah!
Why'd you guys want to come out here? Look at this party. Are you surprised?
I am not surprised. Everybody in this city. This championship means so much to the city of Chicago and to the sport of the MLB. Everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see this. This is history in the making.
Yeah.
My head's gonna explode. But this is my favorite because people are going to call in sick for work, not show up for work, and not be in class.
I for sure thought we won Game 6. It's Game 7. Tomorrow's all where it counts. And I want to apologize to my professor. I won't be in class tomorrow. Sorry. We'll be here tomorrow.
So, where are you going to watch it tonight, huh?
Text from 219. I want the Cubs to win for one reason, so I can stick it up the arses of Sox fans like you, Prof.
Oh,
all
right. Well, this little smack.
I like the combativeness.
You like the tone?
I like the vitriol.
Okay.
It's fine. I like it. It's just, a Cubs fan that actually has some feeling, as opposed to these. I root for Chicago. I rooted for the Sox in 2005. Why can't you root for the Cubs? Because I don't like the Cubs. That's why.
You know what though? I love that you're true to your team because I can't stand these other morning talk show hosts who all of a sudden, and I know them personally, a lot of them. They hate baseball. They hate sports. They don't even know what an RBI is. And they're acting like they're Cub fans now. It drives me bonkers. I mean,
the description of a Cub fan.
It is crazy. But I mean, when was the last time that you saw a grand slam in the World Series?
Game 2, 2005, Paul Konerko.
But what about Addison Russell last night, huh?
Addison Russell, we're not allowed to play Addison Russell on this station. I'll tell you why. Because he has been targeted by Ed Burke for being a bad role model for using chewing tobacco. And every time we play Addison Russell play, or like his grand slam last night, or his little dink error/hit in the first inning,
fly. Okay, got 2 RBIs.
We have to pay a $250 fine to the city for Addison Russell's uses of smokeless tobacco.
Fine me.
2-0. Fly ball to left center. At the wall. Grand slam. 7-0 Chicago.
Seriously brings tears to my eyes. So tonight's going to be a big night. All police officers found out at 7:30 last night that if they had a scheduled day off today, sorry, you have to come to work, and everyone is working 12-hour shifts. And they're also, there's road closures around Wrigley Field. That's why no cars are getting flipped over, because there's no cars to flip over, because there's a parking ban in effect.
Yeah, no, I understand Chicago Police's position. I wouldn't want to have to endure Cubs fans for that long either. All right, so let's switch gears. We got to get to Trump and Pence here. They're in Valley Forge. This is really interesting, the two tracks the candidates are taking. Hillary Clinton trotting out Alicia Machado, trotting out the issue that's been litigated to death, Donald Trump's comments and treatment of women through the years, like, the back and forth, the name-calling back and forth between him and Alicia Machado. I mean, boy, that seems past post at this point. I don't know. The Russian spy, the Russian hacking connection to the Trump campaign, that's been taken away. Molly Hemingway has a good piece on that in the Federalist, Federalist.com.
There's no there.
New York Times reporting the FBI intelligence officials find no connection to the Trump campaign and went further to suggest that the Russian hackers more interested in disrupting the election than necessarily trying to throw it to Trump. So that they've had that narrative taken away. They don't have a lot left. And as I suggested Trump should do, he should be more like Pence, and the two of them together should be Mr. Boring collectively. Talk policy, talk the future, talk what are they going to do that will impact American families if elected. And that's what they did yesterday in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, where at least one poll has him now in a dead heat in Pennsylvania. He wins Pennsylvania. He's going to break through. This is going to be an electoral blowout, I will tell you, in my opinion. And Trump and Pence talked about Obamacare. First Pence setting up Trump.
Across the spectrum, Americans know that Obamacare has got to be repealed and replaced, and that only by electing Donald Trump as the next president of the United States and re-electing strong Republican majorities in the Congress will we get it done. And we will get it done. I stand before you today because today open enrollment begins on the Obamacare exchanges. Once again, millions of Americans are going to be disappointed by their lack of options. And frankly, they're going to be shocked by the high premiums and the cost of health insurance. This government takeover of health care that we call Obamacare is failing in states across America, as it is here in Pennsylvania. And the case has never been stronger for repeal. It's important to remember, as we talk about it as Obamacare, that Hillary Clinton actually said a little bit earlier this year, and I'm quoting, quote, "Before it was called Obamacare, it was called Hillary Care."
Isn't that the truth? And, that's kind of standard issue, political discourse on a important issue that is beset 60% of the American public. That 60% of the American public finds negatively impacting their lives, because it is. And it's not exciting, and it's not about something on Access Hollywood, and it's not about name-calling, and it's not about salaciousness, and it's not even about criminal investigations. It's about something that matters to the pocketbook and quality of life of American families. And that's where you want to be in the closing week, making a positive close about the future. Pence set up Trump, and Trump took it one step further, talking about a special session that he vowed to call.
I will ask Congress to convene a special session so we can repeal and replace. And it will be such an honor for me, for you, and for everybody in this country, because Obamacare has to be replaced. And we will do it, and we will do it very, very quickly. It is a catastrophe.
And what I like, though, he wants help. I'll hear what lawmakers have to say, what ideas that they have.
Oh, sure.
Which was refreshing. He didn't come out and said he had a just couldn't wave a magic wand and make it all better. It's a program that they need to work on. And he did suggest healthcare savings accounts, too, which not a bad idea. And we're going to have Stephen Moore on later in the show, and we can ask him about that.
There's no shortage of ideas. This is never an issue of ideas. Rarely is an issue of ideas. What has been suggested and what will be suggested by Republicans to replace market-oriented reforms to an industry, health insurance, that was distorted by government intervention in the first place, and then further distorted by additional government intervention. It's never an issue. It's about political will. That's the whole thing. Who's got an idea? There's a lot of ideas that are tried and true, ideas that have worked at state level. Health savings accounts, Mitch Daniels Institute for State Workers in Indiana, going on now 7-8 years ago, it's been a boon for the state of Indiana taxpayers in terms of savings and increased quality of care. Satisfaction with access to care from those state employees with those health savings accounts, giving people dominion over their lives. The principles are not new. Most of the ideas are not going to be new. It is a matter of political will. That's what people need to understand. What are we going to do? Republicans have no ideas on how to... Nonsense. They've introduced idea after idea after idea. Think tanks have been talking about these ideas for half a century. It's like school choice coming out of nowhere. It's not coming out of nowhere. Because you haven't been paying attention doesn't mean it hasn't been hotly discussed and implemented, well, now in 14 states. But I mean, this was something Milton Friedman was talking about 60 years ago. There's nothing so powerful as an idea whose time has come, said Victor Hugo. And all these ideas, time has come for them. Now the question is, will Republicans, if Trump is successful, and if he's successful, you can almost guarantee they keep control of Congress. If that happens, will they exercise the political will to really wind back Leviathan, to really move in the direction of market-oriented reforms of these big systems that are so impactful on people's quality of life and that are polluted by federal government intervention? That's the question. And I'm glad that Pence and Trump are answering. I think that's where they want to be. Thanks.
And you made a suggestion about Donald Trump that, between now and the election, which is less than a week away, that he should lay low, not step just stay focused on policy issues. And that's what he's doing. CNN reporting this morning that his campaign has canceled radio interviews that he was scheduled to do, TV appearances he was going to make, and they're keeping him focused, and he's not tweeting in the middle of the night.
Good.
I mean, he tweeted, stuff about repealing Obamacare, and that was it. Just a few tweets yesterday.
Yeah, don't get baited. Don't get baited to talk about Trump.
Don't get baited because Alicia Machado is back out on the campaign trail with Hillary. Leave it alone. Don't even bring it up. Don't acknowledge it.
Talk about the things that impact other people, not the things that impact your personal brand or your personal sensibility with respect to decades-old contretemps and name-calling
I could see him saying, crooked Hillary is bringing that, fat Alicia Machado back out on the campaign trail.
I don't think
so. A porn star. But no, he's not doing that.
Policy and just continuing, to the extent that the press tries to bury it, continuing to press the pedal on the FBI investigation to make sure that is front and center in people's minds, and I think it's going to be. Actually, I don't think he needs to do much. Their campaign is flailing. Bringing out Alicia Machado is an act of desperation. They've run out of narratives to move the needle, and the needle is moving for Trump, and it's moving for Trump across the country and across the board in battleground states.
And 5 hours ago, Donald Trump did tweet out, "This proves intent. If this alone doesn't lock her up, I don't know what will." And he showed a copy of the Podesta email saying that we need to dump all these emails. The sooner, the better.
Phil in Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
So the Republicans have had 6 years to do something about Obamacare. Why do we think that's going to change if Trump becomes president? And just explain that to me. I mean, did Obama have a veto?
Yes.
That could be overridden?
No, it could not be. Yes, correct. Yeah, you had the Obama of Obamacare in the White House, and Republicans couldn't move anything. I mean, not that they shouldn't have tried, and not that they shouldn't have forced votes on this, and they did some of that, but not that they shouldn't have. And then this is across a range of issues. But there's a big difference between a president who is the eponymous legislation and a president who wants to repeal that legislation, that law.
You said will.
Yeah.
And the hatred for Trump amongst the Republican elite, I think that's going to come into play as well.
Yeah, but I don't know about. No.
But I don't think the Republicans are going to
Not on Obamacare. Not on Obamacare. Obamacare is across the board. Remember, not a single Republican voted for Obamacare. So they will look.
They're worried about their power more than anything else.
Yeah, well, their power is to do things that are popular among their constituents. And what's popular among their constituents? Doing something about Obamacare other than extending it. 60% of the public has disliked this idea from the beginning. And as they see their premium increases and the choices constricted, you think it's becoming more popular? I don't think so. Thanks for the call, Phil. They'll look past Trump so long as he's rational on the topic and stays within the kind of broad parameters of market-oriented reforms to the health insurance system to move on Obamacare. If they don't, then you'll see a revolt again. Then you'll see in the midterms what happened to Democrats in 2010 in response to Obamacare. If there is no response to Obamacare, if they've got both branches, then you're going to see a revolt again, and congressional Republicans will face the ire come November of 2018. George in Libertyville.
Hey, Dan, you're exactly right. The Republicans, once he wins, are all going to be like, you know what? Like I said all along, he's the greatest guy in the world. But I'll tell you, last night watching the game and then Hillary's commercials, even my youngest son looks at me and goes, "Dad, she's got nothing left, does she?"
Yeah, thanks for the call, George. And I'll tell you who else has nothing left. Democrats in Illinois. this $9 million campaign to tie Bruce Rauner and Republicans in Illinois to Donald Trump.
They're even trying to tie Leslie Munger to Donald Trump.
All Illinois Republicans up and down the ballot. It's not working. I know it's not working because I poll legislative races because I run an independent expenditure PAC that supports legislative candidates. And Trump's numbers are moving in a positive direction, even in the suburbs. So there's acts of desperation going on for Chicago Democrats in Chicago and Illinois, as well as in D.C.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Fed kicks off a 2-day meeting in Washington. The city of Philadelphia may seek an injunction against striking transit workers, and President Obama strikes out on Cuba. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention investors, your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Federal Reserve policymakers today concluding their 2-day meeting on the direction of new interest rates, but an interest rate hike is considered unlikely with Election Day just less than a week away. Most economists predicting a Fed rate increase next month, however. Day 2 of the transit strike in Philadelphia, 4,700 workers on the picket lines. City officials say if the impasse isn't broken quickly, they will seek an injunction against the transit workers to enable voters to get to the polls on Election Day. President Obama's 2-year-long campaign to expand economic ties with Cuba has produced few results. American companies at an international trade fair in Havana say they're seeing few immediate signs of increased trade with the United States. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, if you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Stacy, she's heard hundreds of David's ads, but wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Plainfield. Bad move. David answered Stacy's questions, pre-qualified her to purchase a home, and introduced her to Ron Wexler, his radio show's realtor in Plainfield, to purchase a home. Purchasing a home, as you know, can be overwhelming, but it won't be if you call David first. Call David Hochberg at 312-751-1333. He can pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to his team of preferred realtors. Again, his number is 312-751-1333, or simply go to am560david.com. That's am560david.com. And call him at 312-751-1333. He can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dan Patlack, your taxpayer advocate, and Citizens for Dan Patlack paid for this ad.
Dan Patlack is gaining support. The Daily Herald says he speaks with youthful energy and passion about the agency's mission of assuring fairness to all. Patlack approaches the job not so much like a politician, but as a commissioner whose responsibility is to rule the way the evidence and numbers tell him to rule. The Chicago Tribune says Patlack is smart and diligent, and he tries to keep the system fair. The Sun-Times says Patlack has the better professional credentials. Dan Patlack promised and delivered improvements at our Board of Tax Review. Online appeals, online evidence submission, over 200 assessment appeal seminars to educate taxpayers about the appeal process, and increasing transparency, with all decisions available on the Board of Review website.
I appreciate the editorials, but the most important endorsement is yours on Election Day. With your vote on November 8th, I will fight unfair assessments and keep the Board of Review responsive to regular folks. I'm Dan Patlack. It is my privilege to serve you. Thank you.
Hey, I know a perfect holiday gift because, yes, holiday's right around the corner, and it's a MyPillow. MyPillow will extend the money-back guarantee through March if you purchase for the holidays. Plus, if you buy one premium pillow, you still get the second one and 2 additional Go Anywhere pillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of one. It is their best offer ever. The National Sleep Foundation made MyPillow their official pillow. Why? It's the best. I mean, really, it conforms to your neck and back. It's washable to remove germs that cause allergies, acne, and asthma. And you'll sleep better, too. I guarantee it. So visit MyPillow.com. Click the radio listener special tab and use the promo code Amy. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and those 2 great Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one. Plus that extended money-back guarantee through March for your holiday gifts. Or call 800-489-0201, 800-489-0201.
The following is a paid political announcement.
You know who I'm going to miss?
The Rolling Stones?
No, Jack Franks.
Yeah, he served McHenry County for a long time. Good guy.
Yeah, but this new guy running, Steve Reich, he's a great guy too.
Really?
We won't miss a beat with Reich. He knows how to get lower property taxes. That's his field.
Yeah?
And Reich has ideas to grow the economy up here.
You really like Reich.
So did the Northwest Herald and the Chicago Tribune.
Good enough for me. I like Reich too.
I'm Steve Reich, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by the House Republican Organization.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010.
Cubs beat the Indians to force a Game 7. CTU approves a new contract, and the Blackhawks winners. Cloudy skies this morning. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Schools are closed today in Urbandale, Iowa. Why?
Somebody out there shooting police officers. We hope we find him before anybody else gets hurt.
2 officers were ambushed and murdered early this morning.
1 officer was found shot to death in a squad car in a quiet Des Moines suburb. 20 minutes later, a second officer was found shot in a squad car in Des Moines city limits. That officer died at a local hospital.
Sue Danielson with Fox affiliate WHO. Des Moines Police Sergeant Paul Parizek says they're still hunting for the gunman.
We've doubled up our officers. I think Urbandale's taken some of those same precautions. But yeah, there's definitely danger out there right now.
Also a search in Memphis for the gunmen who were masked in bandanas who shot and killed a teenage girl at a park last night. 5 others were wounded. 6 days before the election, Donald Trump is reaching out to early voters
who have already cast their ballots for Hillary Clinton and who are having a bad case of buyer's remorse.
They can switch their vote in Wisconsin, where Trump rallied, also in Connecticut, Michigan, Mississippi, New York, and Pennsylvania. He's hitting Clinton again over email controversy and saying he'd repeal Obamacare and bring health care costs down. Hillary Clinton unloaded more attacks on Trump. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Clinton is trying to shift the focus away from her emails back to Trump's comments about women, calling him a bully. Things got ugly at a rally in Fort Lauderdale when a heckler shouted, "Bill Clinton is a rapist."
And you know, I am sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump.
Former Miss Universe Alicia Machado, who says Trump fat-shamed her, introduced Clinton at the rally. Today, Clinton campaigns in Nevada and Arizona. Dave.
Rachel, Cubs fans can hardly believe it. Chicago won Game 6 of the World Series, beating Cleveland 9-3, set up the big finale tonight. Indians fans still hopeful.
This is Game 7, and we're Cleveland. We're from the land till I die.
This is Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
60 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Cubs bats arrived early and remained hot throughout the game. A Game 6 victory over the Indians last night, 9-3. Addison Russell a grand slam. Chris Bryant 4 hits. Anthony Rizzo also went deep. Jake Arrieta cruised to the win. Big league ERA leader Kyle Hendricks will start tonight's deciding Game 7. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office reports this morning the death of a 3-year-old boy on Chicago's far south side. It's been ruled a homicide. An autopsy yesterday found that Tavion Thomas died of multiple injuries due to child abuse. The young victim was found not breathing Monday morning inside an apartment near the corner of 122nd and Green. Authorities are searching for the driver of a hit-and-run that seriously injured a 3-year-old boy on Chicago's southwest side. Police say a vehicle slammed into Patrick Zubalet Monday evening as he was crossing the street with his family near 63rd in Natchez.
Be a man and turn yourself in. Let's get this over with. Let's get this addressed. there's a kid out there who's fighting for his life.
The child remains hospitalized in critical condition. Chicago Teachers Union approving a contract with its leaders negotiated with CPS. Union announcing late last night more than 70% of its 27,000 members voted to accept the deal. The chef owner of several Chicago area Chinese restaurants set to be sentenced later this month for underpaying taxes by not reporting cash receipts. Tribune says prosecutors are asking that Tony Hu serve 4.5 years in prison. And a change tied to Mayor Emanuel's 2017 budget proposal will raise your parking rates at Chicago's two major airports. The increases at O'Hare and Midway were outlined in a pair of ordinances introduced by the mayor at yesterday's city council meeting. Mayor says the extra revenue generated will pay for airport operations upgrades and will help the general fund of the city. Chicago sports, Patrick Kane a goal and 2 helpers. Blackhawks beat Calgary 5-1. Bulls meet up with the Celtics tonight without guard Michael Carter-Williams, out 4 weeks or more with injuries to a left knee. The news, a service of Staples with low prices on ink, toner, and printers. The redesigned lightning-fast HP OfficeJet Pro is now at Staples, and you can save up to $100 for a limited time. See store or staples.com for details. Restrictions and limitations may apply. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/connect. That's ZipRecruiter.com/connect. ZipRecruiter.com/connect.
7:06. Check the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Mike and Hammond, the ramp from northbound Indianapolis Boulevard to westbound 894 is closed till 2 p.m. Friday. Construction. Indiana Toll Road has westbound lanes from 20 in East Chicago to Calumet Avenue. Eden's 33 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose up on 23. Kennedy now 46 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 18 from Montrose, 17 in the Express. Up on 36 to the airport. Eisenhower 52 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Up on 45. And Stevenson jammed, especially from the right to Lakeshore Drive. There's a stall the right lane. All told, it's an hour and 3 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 50 minutes from the Tri-State, about 42 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown, Tri-State Tollway. It is slow first southbound, 21 to 137, crash in the two center lanes. Northbound, 115th, most of the way to the Hinsdale Oasis. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy skies today and tonight. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly later in the day with a high 68. Then tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the evening. Patchy fog after midnight. Low tonight of 48. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
60 at O'Hare, 64 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news at 7:30. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This is Russell. Cubs have forced the game 7. Winning it 9-3.
We're going to do this. We're going to win. We're going to come back. We're going to win tomorrow. Yeah!
I want to apologize to my professor. I won't be in class tomorrow. Sorry. We'll be here tomorrow.
He does not have the temperament to be our commander-in-chief.
Across the spectrum, Americans know that Obamacare has got to be repealed and replaced.
I will ask Congress to convene a special session so we can repeal and replace.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, a very interesting piece by Holman Jenkins in the Wall Street Journal about Hillary Clinton. You know, it was the argument that was being made after the Access Hollywood tape and some of Trump's curious statements and details of past behavior is that he's the unsafe candidate. He's not the...
dangerously unstable.
He's not the steady hand, right? Yeah. And Holman Jenkins makes the point, which I think is correct, and this is why you see the attrition of Hillary's support occurring, is that now Hillary Clinton is the unsafe hand. She's the unsafe candidate because she's the subject of a federal criminal investigation, and again, and everybody knows at her core, and because of passing attention the last 30 years, that she's corrupt, that she's untrustworthy, that she and Bill and the whole Clinton Inc. operation leverage everything they can for personal enrichment and power consolidation. They know that, and now we're getting to the point where there could actually be consequences for it. And she's the unsteady hand. This is why she is going to lose the election. But the question is, what is the FBI going to do between now and Election Day? What are they doing now that we should take judicial notice of? How will an investigation like this proceed? How long will it take? What are the next steps? All of these questions that people have. Let's try and get some answers, or at least some direction to those answers from a practitioner in the space. He is Matthew Whitaker. He's a former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Iowa for 5 years. He is managing partner at a law firm in Des Moines, and he's the director of the Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust, and also Amy.
I know him. He went to Iowa.
Yeah, and he played football.
Football, yeah.
All right. Matthew Whitaker, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, good morning. Go Hawks.
Yeah,
thank you.
From Iowa has to say
it's
go
bad enough
Hawks.
he's a White Sox fan, Matthew. Now he's got to deal with the Hawkeyes again.
This is a tough day. Man, you're not making it any easier, Matthew. All right, so this is a bit of an interesting development yesterday with respect to this FBI records vault account. The posting of records that they say are in response to FOIA requests, okay, but it's the Mark Rich pardon documents related to Bill Clinton's pardon of Mark Rich. It's the David Petraeus investigation, documents related to his illegal conduct with respect to classified material. It's the Hillary Clinton Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton documents related to Hillary Clinton investigation during her term as Secretary of State, or the contents that were produced during her term as Secretary of State. Is there anything we should make of this kind of pattern of documents that the FBI is releasing? Isn't it curious? The Clinton campaign certainly thinks the release of the Mark Rich pardon files are curious.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, this is a story that just has been developing, but like a Twitter account the FBI had or has that had been kind of dormant for a year. I think it's something to do with the FBI reading room, and they say that, once there's 3 FOIA requests, they just, post things to the reading room, and I guess this Twitter automatically notifies people that there are documents posted in this reading room. But yeah, it's a little I always live by the axiom of, don't assume malfeasance when, stupidity can be explained as the cause. And I just sensed that this was kind of a unfortunate timing of documents that would otherwise have been put out, into the public. But yeah, it's curious to say the least.
But it's a rarely used Twitter account. I mean, why? I mean, they're not stupid over there at the FBI. Why would they choose this time considering what else is going on?
Yeah, they're not stupid over there at the FBI. Sort of if you believe their explanation is that there was some technical issue with this Twitter account that was recently resolved. It could have been that they lost the password. I mean, I can only imagine. I know what my experience with Twitter has been through the years. And so I think it's just, I don't think, again, it's a nice distraction for the Clintons to blame the FBI for somehow trying to impact this election. But, long story short is, if these documents were otherwise going to be put out there, because of several FOIA requests, then, I mean, they're out there anyway, and sort of a random tweet from a, sort of a non-followed or not a very active Twitter account, I don't think is going to ultimately impact an election.
What about the story, New York Times reporting that the FBI tried to keep hush-hush investigations that began earlier this year into both the Clintons, as well as, including the foundation, as well as Paul Manafort, Trump's former campaign manager, chairman, because they didn't want to impact the election. So they tried to stay hush-hush for a while, then they weren't hush-hush, then they were hush-hush again, now they're not hush-hush.
Yeah, well, this most recent kind of situation where, the announcement was made on Friday of the reopening the investigation. I mean, if you think about how that was done, I mean, Director Comey certainly had significant new information, and they needed to get a search warrant, so they had to reopen the investigation. At the same time, he sent a letter to Congress. I mean, Congress is the one that ultimately put it out there, into the media and out there into the collective conscience of America. I mean, he was merely trying to, follow up on his testimony because he had undertaken under oath to supplement his testimony if anything changed.
Well, yeah, but I mean, of course, he knew that that document was going to go public when he sent it to politicians on both sides of the aisle. That he's sophisticated enough to know how that's going to play out.
You would assume that he's sophisticated enough to know that would have hit the street almost as fast as it was delivered. But nonetheless, I mean, he clearly thought he had an obligation, and that obligation sort of needed to happen before the election. I mean, 11 days before the election. It seems. I mean, it's curious how he did it and why he did it that way. But I mean, I think he has been under tremendous criticism from both within and without the FBI. And ultimately, my sense is that he felt like he needed to get this out there, at least to members of Congress, and knowing that they would probably then share it beyond that.
Do you find the reports of and as well as the reactions that we know from Loretta Lynch and President Obama curious as well? Loretta Lynch kind of reportedly softly suggesting that he shouldn't do it, but not really putting any teeth behind it, not openly complaining about it. And then President Obama sort of kind of giving him a voice of support in terms of his professionalism without addressing the judgment call specifically. There's some arguments that President Obama doesn't want to see Comey removed because that would almost assuredly lead to a special prosecutor, which is what he does not want to see happen, number one, and that Loretta Lynch, just made a political calculation as well that removing Comey or chiding him publicly would just add gasoline to the firestorm.
Yeah, I think a couple things. One is, I have been calling for months. I think we're at the 9 or 10 months that a special prosecutor should be appointed to, have handled this. I think that Loretta Lynch, who had kind of recused herself from the investigation to sort of now reinsert herself into the investigation is a little strange. My understanding is there is tension between Lynch and Comey. And remember, the FBI director has a 10-year term and can't be fired. And so, ultimately, his boss is Loretta Lynch and ultimately the president, but there's no mechanism. If Jim Comey doesn't want to leave, he's not going to leave, and there's no way to get him out. And, I think, again, I know Jim Comey. I served with him in the Department of Justice, and I know him to be someone that is dedicated to the pursuit of justice. And I'm certain that if this decision was made, in looking in that lens, is, what's the right thing to do to pursue justice and not, sort of what's the political calculation or anything else.
So you don't think he's not politically motivated by any party?
I don't. I mean, he I think in his testimony this summer, he said that he was previously a registered Republican, but now he's a registered independent. I mean, he certainly served in Republican administrations. But I don't know him to be kind of highly partisan or to act, as a partisan when it comes to enforcing the law.
Brett Stevens, the Wall Street Journal, yesterday opined in his call for Comey's resignation that, it's not about Comey being partisan. It's about him being a reputation manager and him kind of going in the direction of the Beltway zeitgeist on some of these, in his career as a prosecutor and now the FBI director. And he gave a few pretty compelling examples. What about that? What about Comey as just another kind of bureaucratic survivalist? Is that a fair criticism?
I didn't read that article, and now that you've mentioned it, I will track that down. It's not something that I know him to be and have any experience with. I mean, I think he is someone that has dedicated most of his career to public service. He's somebody that's pursued justice and enforced the laws, and I don't sense that he is acting kind of under whichever way the partisan winds blow, or under some, suggestion that kind of, he's trying to please the glitterati in Washington, D.C. I think he's just trying to do his job as best he can as FBI director and lead the men and women that serve every day in the, on the front lines of both terrorism and violent crime.
Now, according to Pete Williams, he's the justice correspondent over there at NBC News. He said that his sources are telling him that the investigation is running smoothly. There's no technical problems, and they're just, combing through the emails. Do you think they might find something by any chance in 5 days before the election?
I just do not feel like they're going to be able to get their arms around whatever they do find in enough time to report fairly the outcome of the reopened investigation. I mean, there's still, if they do find anything additional, which it sounds like there's, I thought I had a problem managing my inbox, but 650,000 emails is a lot. So, I mean, I think it's going to take some time, even if you use, sort of sophisticated measures. There's still going to have to be a review, and then there may be follow-up questions for people that have previously been interviewed, and that's, kind of probably what's causing a lot of restlessness among the Clinton camp is that, they've all sort of put their positions out in statements to the FBI, and now suddenly there may be new information that they, hadn't planned for.
As a former U.S. attorney, the other letter that went to members of Congress from Peter Hudzik, a deputy attorney general, who's also a close friend of John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, we know from WikiLeaks emails and correspondence about dinner and dinners they have had and so forth. Is that troubling at all, the appearance of a conflict of interest? You've got the Associate Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, overseeing from the justice side, working with the FBI to oversee this investigation, and he's a confidant of John Podesta?
Yeah, I mean, I saw those reports. I've read some of those emails. It is a little concerning that Podesta and the Clinton camp would have sort of that close of a tie to number 3 person at DOJ. But that being said, I mean, DOJ, the political appointees all come from the left side, and, John Podesta is a well-known member of the left elite, and so I would expect that he would have relationships with sort of people in the administration. The concerning thing is some of the timing of the meetings, what was going on at the time, from an investigation standpoint, and certainly this person, would have had access to how the investigation was going and could have got information as to, sort of what they were finding or what they weren't finding.
All right. He is Matthew Whitaker, former U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Iowa, Executive Director of the Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust. Matthew, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I went to college with him. I know him. Don't worry. I didn't make out with him.
Did you go to prom with him?
I didn't go to prom with him. I might have made out with him. Just kidding. All right, today it's going to be cloudy, a couple of showers and thunderstorms, a high of 68 degrees. Tonight, when people gather outside the friendly confines, might be some rain, some thunderstorms that might affect the crowd size. And then tomorrow, we're going to have just sunshine, some clouds, and mild for this time of year, a high of 60 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Tri-State southbound, it is jammed from 132 in Gurnee to 137, where there's a crash in the left lane. And northbound, it's very heavy from 150th to the 83rd Street toll, from the Mile Long Bridge to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Reagan Tollway's delays from the Aurora Toll to Farnsworth with the crash in the left lane. Also slow 53 to Findlay. Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt and Army Trail to 290. Seeing delays on I-80 eastbound, Harlem to I-57 and westbound Briggs to Richards. Edens, 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, app on 31. Kennedy, 44 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, app on 37. The Ike, 56 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, app on 41. On the make that 51 now on the outbound Eisenhower. Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
Peter forgot to order supplies for the office, and the boss is not happy. Peter, we're out of toilet paper.
I'm sorry, boss. I'll order supplies right now. They should be here by next week.
Next week? Peter really needs to call Combined Sales. Combined Sales has the products and solutions your business can't live without. From paper to pens, packaging, janitorial and safety supplies, and food service, Combined Sales to the rescue. They're local and can get you the supplies needed to keep your business running smoothly, fast, and at a great price. Plus, you'll deal with real people, not just another faceless internet site. You'll have an outside rep, an inside rep, and a customer service rep. Right now, Combined Sales has a presidential offer for new customers. This is huge! Open a business account today, order $500 in supplies, and you'll earn 5% in Co-op reward dollars on all purchases for the next 3 months. Plus, receive a bonus $50 Co-op reward. Request an account set up today at CombinedSales.com. CombinedSales.com.
Control, this is QL1. Everything looks good on my end. Prepping for liftoff. Over. One more thing, QL1. What's that, Control? You've been talking a lot about Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans lately. What would you say is the best reason to use it? Well, it's completely online. It's easy to use. You can get approved in minutes. It's convenient. You can share your pay stubs and bank statements at the touch of a button, so you get real numbers, not estimates. And hey, QL1, I asked for the best reason. Yeah, go ahead and pick one. Anyone. That's tough. They all sound great. I think you're finally getting it, Control. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store without having to stop and rest. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down, my blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
So if the Cubs win tonight, we can have Ronnie Woo Woo call in tomorrow morning?
Sure.
Serious? Really?
Yeah, sure.
Because he will. He's been chomping at the bit to call in every day.
Okay.
To go, Dan, woo, prop, woo, Dan, woo, prop, woo.
All right, no, now he can't. Not after that. Yeah, of course, sure, why not?
Okay.
I'll just sit here and let you celebrate for 4 hours.
Everybody can call in.
Just
you know,
weep openly.
It's all right. You'll watch history because it's been 108 years, and I know you know that.
Yes. Tonight we find out if God has any more plans for us. So it'll be interesting to know.
I mean, these have been some crazy times. I've had to pinch myself.
With
the election and with the Cubs. I mean, I was at the World Series game too, and I thought, is this really happening? We're really here in the World Series.
Seth Meyers had a good little bit yesterday on his show where, I don't want to alarm anybody, but the calendar ends on November 8th. There's no more days after November 8th, so I don't know what that means. So maybe.
I mean, people, remember at Freedom Summit said, what are you going to do the day after? And you said, well, we'll go through the election results. Yes. And then he said, well, what about a week later? We'll still be going through the election results.
There's going to be a lot to go through.
And then the aftermath, because it's been a very volatile election. I mean, I just hope that my kids still talk to me after I vote for Donald Trump. Should we tell Stephen Moore when he comes on the show later that I'm going to do it?
You make his day. The Cubs made your day last night. Make Stephen Moore's day coming up at 7:37.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The government projects the cost of Medicare plans will decrease this year. So you have to ask, are you getting the best rate? And Health Markets offers a free service to help folks maximize their Medicare benefits and save money.
The enrollment period for Medicare has already started. What is it people need to keep in mind?
Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. My advice, don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision, and the freedom to choose your doctors. With the enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now. Our Health Markets Medicare service is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-351-2054. That's 800-351-2054. 800-351-2054.
What's your caliber? You've heard about.
Are you okay over there?
Yeah, flipping the pages here.
Don't pull a hammy.
I'm thinking about what a Cubs victory would feel like. I need to stop thinking about that. What's your caliber? You've heard about Black Rhino holsters for concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting. When you see how comfortable and safe they are, you'll want one for all of your firearms. They're handcrafted in Illinois by veterans using 100% virgin Kydex and American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest affordable holster. With a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment. We hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That number again, 847-783-6499, or visit blackrhinoconcealment.com.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk to Trump economic advisor Stephen Moore about what the market performance portends for Tuesday at 7:37.
And later, he hates Donald Trump, but yet he didn't give him his money back. Who are we discussing? We'll explain later, but first into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
59 degrees. Iowa's governor and lieutenant governor addressing reporters at this hour, saying all Iowans are under threat after 2 police officers were murdered overnight. Governor Terry Branstad and Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds issued a statement this morning, just hours after 2 public safety officers were shot to death. Branstad and Reynolds saying an attack on police in Iowa is an attack on the public safety of all Iowans. Police in Des Moines say their investigation continues after those 2 officers were shot and killed in an ambush-style attack. The Des Moines Police Sergeant Paul Parizek says the fallen officers were ambushed in 2 separate incidents.
It doesn't look like there was any interaction between these officers and whoever the coward is that shot them while they sat in their cars.
The identities of the officers has not yet been released. Politically this morning, Donald Trump going after Obamacare.
When we win on November 8th and elect a Republican Congress, we will be able to immediately repeal and replace Obamacare. Have to do it.
At a rally in Pennsylvania, Trump says Republicans are determined to introduce their own reform law. Hillary Clinton rallying voters in the key battleground state of Florida.
Donald Trump's strategy is to get women to stay home, young people to stay home, people of color to stay home. That's more than half the population. But it's all part of his scorched earth campaign.
Clinton in Sanford, Florida. French authorities have begun busing underage immigrants out of Calais, France, to processing centers around that country following the closure of a vast migrant camp there. Jury seated in the trial of a former South Carolina policeman charged with murder in the shooting death last year of an unarmed black motorist. Opening arguments could come later today in the trial of 34-year-old Michael Slager. Cubs bats were alive last night in a 9-3 win over the Indians in a deciding Game 6, so they moved to Game 7. Addison Russell with a grand slam, Chris Bryant 4 hits, Anthony Rizzo went deep, Jake Arrieta was dominant. Big league ERA leader Kyle Hendricks will start tonight's Game 7 against Cleveland ace Corey Kluber. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says the death of a 3-year-old boy on Chicago's far south side has been ruled a homicide. An autopsy yesterday revealing Tavion Thomas died of multiple injuries due to child abuse. Chicago Teachers Union approves a contract with its leaders negotiated with the Chicago Public Schools. More than 70% of teachers voted to accept the agreement. Blackhawks beat Calgary last night 5-1. Bulls take on the Celtics later on tonight. The news a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR 710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher feels a surprise coming.
I just don't think the excitement or the enthusiasm or the going into the voting booth and voting for Donald Trump is going to be stopped. I think we better be prepared for a big surprise on November the 8th. I believe that with all of my heart. Hey, the Cubs and the Indians in the World Series, anything can happen, right?
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee. The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dan Patlack, your taxpayer advocate, and Citizens for Dan Patlack paid for this ad.
Dan Patlack is gaining support. The Daily Herald says he speaks with youthful energy and passion about the agency's mission of assuring fairness to all. Patlack approaches the job not so much like a politician, but as a commissioner whose responsibility is to rule the way the evidence and numbers tell him to rule. The Chicago Tribune says Patlack is smart and diligent, and he tries to keep the system fair. The Sun-Times says Patlack has the better professional credentials. Dan Patlack promised and delivered improvements at our Board of Tax Review. Online appeals, online evidence submission, over 200 assessment appeal seminars to educate taxpayers about the appeal process, and increasing transparency, with all decisions available on the Board of Review website.
I appreciate the editorials, but the most important endorsement is yours on Election Day. With your vote on November 8th, I will fight unfair assessments and keep the Board of Review responsive to regular folks. I'm Dan Patlack. It is my privilege to serve you. Thank you.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, and with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt-cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors, and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all that we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
7:37, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A quick check of the roads. AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Southbound Tri-State jammed 132 to 137 with a crash in the left lane. To Kennedy, 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Eden's 30 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. The Ike now an hour and 3 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson an hour and 7 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 30 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Traffic service. Staples. Staples has low prices on ink and toner and an in-stock guarantee to ensure you always get what you need fast. In-stock guarantee applies to in-store selection only. Out-of-stock ink and toner, we ordered from in-store kiosk. $10 discount plus free shipping. Limit 1 cartridge per customer. Strap, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, showers, and a thunderstorm sneaks into the area later in the day. High 68. 61 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're going to get to Steve Moore in just a minute, but I have to take judicial notice of this. You know, how swamp-like is the whole Clinton operation? How scummy are they? Even the D.C. press corps is decrying surrogates of Clinton Inc. Like, for example, Donna Brazile.
Oh, Donna Brazier. I told you that's her new name.
Okay.
You've got Tiny Dancer. I've got Double D's.
CNN President Jeff Zucker described former CNN network commentator Donna Brazile's interactions with the Clinton campaign, you know, where she gave them questions for the debate.
And it even said, describe the woman. Oh, she has a rash on her face. That's how you'll know it's coming.
Described her interactions with the Clinton campaign, Brazile, now the DNC chairman, as, quote, unethical and, quote, disgusting. Boy, oh boy, you know how the level to which one must sink is to be called unethical and disgusting by the president of one of these cable news channels? Whew. And Victor Davis Hanson, who has just been killing it, this election cycle, it continues to. He has an excellent piece, which I demand you read.
Okay.
Called The Clintons at
I need an extension on my homework assignments.
I'll give you to the end of the week. The Clintons at the end of all things. And he asks the question, given the latest Wiener scandals coming on top of the latest WikiLeaks scandals, we wonder, what did the Clintons really wish to end up as and why? Are they Goethe's Faust or tortured souls crushed by the weight of their money bags in Dante's fourth circle of hell? Why can't they be a little bit of both? For a few criminals, remorse comes with old age, but for the Clintons, near 70 was to be the capstone, the last chance to trump, pun intended, all their prior shenanigans. They were artists of amorality, and the election of 2016 was to be their magnum opus. Victor Davis Hanson goes on later in the piece to say the Clintons suffer from greed as defined by Aristotle, endless acquisition solely for the benefit of self. With their insatiable appetites, they resented the limits that multimillionaire status put on them, boundaries they could bypass only by accumulating even greater riches. The billion-dollar foundation squared the circle of progressive politicians profiting from the public purse by offering a veneer of doing good while offering free luxury travel commensurate with the style of the global rich, and so on. He's got Clinton Inc. diagnosed properly, and it strains the bounds of credulity that anyone could be supporting but Clinton Inc., but I'll hear arguments on the case. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line on that. And so, given that, what can Clinton Inc. do in the waning days, beset by all of these scandals interconnected as they are, closing in on them and leaving them with very little room to move as other narratives have been undermined, like, for example, the whole scary specter of Putin and Trump working together, James Carville's wild fantasy about
the KGB and the GOP.
And the FBI.
Yeah,
all in concert with one another. And the New York Times reporting that FBI and intelligence, we reported on this yesterday, FBI and intelligence, no connection to Trump. And doesn't even look like they were Russian hackers trying to help Trump, just trying to disrupt the U.S. election in general, create chaos, because that's what a KGB operation intends to do, create chaos for their benefit. That's what Putin is doing in the Middle East, for example. So what is she left to do? She's left to trot out some former beauty queen from 20 years ago.
Alicia Machado. Can I bring her on stage, Dan? Because she was very effective yesterday.
He said to me, Miss Piggy, Miss Housekeeping, it's really clear that he does not respect women.
I mean, they're bringing this up, going back to the well, trying to convince undecided female voters that, hey, just don't forget what Donald Trump has said in the coarse, boorish language that he has used. But he's a changed man, and this makes me want to run to Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's an act of desperation. By the way, just in terms of knowing who these people are, Tiny Dancer, since you mentioned him.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny Dancer. Tiny Dancer got a big donation from Donald Trump 6 years ago when he was first running for mayor of the city of Chicago. That's 6 years ago. We're talking about name calling from 20 years ago with Machado. So if something is relevant from 20 years ago, isn't something relevant from 6 years ago? And Tiny Dancer was asked that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. A reporter went to him after that city council meeting, to take down the Trump sign. And he said that was 6 years ago. And so they said, well, are you going to give it back, the $50,000? And he said, well, I don't know. So later, Pete Giangreco, Mark Giangreco's brother, spoke to the reporters and said in a statement, we're not going to put money back from a 5-year-old donation back into Donald Trump's pocket.
Because it's already in mine, said Pete Giangreco.
No, he didn't say that. He said, and get this, Dan, and we're not going to stop denouncing everything he says. And I didn't know that not only
Where's the ROM?
We're putting ROM in right now. Where is the ROM? We don't have. Oh, here's the ROM. Here he is.
Alderman Riley says that he's going to return the money that Donald Trump gave him because of Trump's hateful rhetoric. Will you follow his lead on that and return the money that...
that's 6 years ago.
So no? Why not?
Because,
what about the point
that he's making? I have made the point. I've spoken up. There's a point there. I'll take a look at it. I haven't really thought about it.
Take a look at it.
What you were making about Trump, given the environment. Well,
I don't know what you mean by the environment, Jay, but Ed, rather. But let me say this. What we have done is obviously taken down his sign. We've been very clear about his policies on that. I don't really know about what he said, and I'll take a look into it.
Oh, wait. This is very clear about his policies. He hasn't talked about his policies. He's talking about his rhetoric and his name-calling and so forth. What's to think about, Tiny Dancer? Is this a man, the bête noire of Western civilization or not? Well, return the money. Return the money. And by the way, Brendan Riley.
Yes, this is news to me.
The town drunk over there is my alderman in the 42nd Ward. You can visit him at Boss Bar today at about 2:30 if you'd like to. If you're in need of constituent services and you live in the 42nd Ward. That buffoon, that Madigan suck toy that pretends to be an independent, that alderman of the 42nd Ward there, which is really a Republican ward, richest ward in the city. Shakedown artists, the restaurants and bars in that ward. Yeah. Pictures of him standing with the Trump family.
I know.
When the Trump Tower was unveiled, because that's in his ward. Oh, and he's saw his way fit now to return the money because he's so offended.
But this is great.
Yeah.
So the city council, instead of talking about pressing issues that affect, people that live in this city and taxpayers, they voted unanimously to take down the Trump sign. But then they asked Riley, what are you going to do with the sign? Are you ready for this? He said, we'll discuss what to do with the mayor. We may even just melt it down. We'll repurpose it for somebody who deserves an honor.
Oh,
so now they're going to have like the Bartman ball being blown up. Now you're going to have the meltdown of the Trump honorary sign.
Well, I like the fact that this is going to be a protracted affair. So it took us this long to take the sign down. Now this will be months of committee meetings and suggestions. We'll take community input on what to do with the sign.
Yeah, 312-642-5600.
It's such a statement of principle, isn't it? They're so profound. They're such intellectual and moral leaders, aren't they? Brendan Riley and Tiny Dancer.
Why don't they just auction it off, make some money? I mean, or do something, melt it down, please, like a public flogging for a sign.
Here's an idea.
Drop it off the Trump Tower. See what
Here's an idea. In the worst-run city in the country, major city in the country, where police and fire pension funds are less than 30% funded, trending towards insolvency, clearly, where you have one of the worst public school systems in the Western Hemisphere, where you have more murders this year than in New York and L.A. combined. Metropolitan area, the corporate boundaries, less than 3 million people. Fewer than 3 million people in Chicago, 12 million people in L.A. and New York combined? Mm-hmm. More murders, raw numbers, in Chicago than L.A. and New York combined. And we're talking, and they're acting about some honorary bull jive who gives a rat's rear end sign.
And by the way, your
That's
alderman,
their big statement of principle.
Yeah, I know. And your alderman, by the way, he pledged, he hasn't done so yet, to return the $5,000 that Trump contributed to his campaign in 2010.
Just, you know what, Brenda Riley, I'm sure Trump would be fine with this. Just use it to pay your bar tab at Boss Bar.
Oh, Dan.
How about that?
Wow. Do you think the Trump sign will end up at Boss Bar? I mean, what's going to happen to the Trump sign? I might lose sleep over this. Oh, my goodness.
Pat in Lockport, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I have a question. Since when did truth become a slam? The truth is Chicago is in bad shape, and they're worried about a sign. That's number one. They should put their energies into worrying about Chicago's problems. And another thing, if Trump is so terrible, how come Tiny Dancer isn't worried about all the tourism taxes that he's bringing in, all the bar tabs that taxes are going to the city, all the restaurants, all the souvenirs? Well, that must be tainted money too, but he's real happy about taking those tax dollars.
Oh, that's a good point, Pat. Thanks for the call. We need to raise Trump Tower. Tear down Trump Tower, tear down Trump.
Well, they did want to take down the big Trump sign.
No, I want the whole thing. The whole thing needs to come down because it's essentially a shrine to this illicit individual
who's just a hate monger.
Yeah,
who calls compares Chicago to a Baghdad.
Isn't Trump Tower? Is not Trump Tower a monument to all of the isms and phobias? It's misogynistic. It's anti-woman. It's homophobic. It's racist. It's, I don't know.
My friend wanted to take down the T so it just said rump. And I said, okay, you go do that. Have a good time with it. We'll see you in jail.
It's a great contribution.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that 4,000 times. So what about that, though? How do they let Trump Tower stand?
I don't know.
Isn't it a blight on the Chicago skyline?
What do you want to see happen to the Trump sign?
The Chicago Democrat paradise that they've created, this utopia, this heaven on earth. How can they let that monstrosity stand?
Do you know when they show, aerials?
I want Derrick Rose's mom kicked out of Trump Tower.
When they show
and the whole thing come down like a Vegas hotel.
But here's the thing: mainstream media, when they do show, the skyline, the Chicago skyline, I haven't seen for the World Series. I haven't seen them include the Trump Tower. They always do, the Sears Tower, Blue Cross Blue Shield building. They never show that angle of the city where the Trump Tower is in. Have you noticed that? I'm always looking for it because I just want to see what's.
Who's with me? Controlled demolition of Trump Tower to make sure that we preserve the pristine, moral, and intellectual integrity of Chicago's political ruling elites, which of course are all Chicago Democrats, for the past 100 years, since like the Cubs won a World Series. Robert in Northbrook.
Yeah, let me make my point before you cut me off.
No.
It's political season, and these people are making a political statement. They're Democrats, and you know what? You have you have airtime. You reach lots of people on your radio show, and you're being facetious, and you're talking about nonsense too, like knocking down Trump Tower.
Why is that facetious?
Because if it's not facetious, I think that the Secret Service will be out to see, or the FBI or somebody.
No, well, wait a second. No. I'm talking about legally condemn the property and raise it. Have the city take it over. Why?
Well,
they took down the city-owned sign.
I think there's an equivalency there. That you're talking nonsense. They're talking nonsense. But
okay.
Thing. And that's what people do.
You're right. I'm demonstrating the absurd. You're right, Robert. I'm demonstrating the absurd by being absurd. That's exactly right.
And furthermore, the reason that people are having this discussion is because Trump's an a-hole, and that's all there is to it.
So Robert, then why doesn't Ron return the money?
I think that if he's a man of principle, he should return the money, but that's besides the point.
Right. It's beside the point that he's a man of principle, because he's not a man of principle, which is why he won't just say, I'm going to return the money. Exactly. That's my point. It's a den of thieves. And you talk about false equivalence, Robert, this kind of, back and this suggestion that, these are all just political statements because it's the silly season. No, it isn't. These are the people in charge of the city of Chicago, one of the great cities in the world, and they're destroying it. These are the people in charge of the state of Illinois, one of the great states in the country, one of the great places in the world, and they're destroying it. So, no, it actually does matter. And, yeah, I'm being facetious. Of course I'm being facetious.
People live there.
But this is I'm trying to take the premise of what they do and apply it across the board. Let's set the standard so we understand it. Rather than just kind of relegating everything to, well, somebody's on one side of this issue or a political race and somebody's on the other. Why don't you follow the logic, connect some dots to what these political arsonists do to play great cities like Chicago and great families and businesses in places like Chicago? How about connecting the dots rather than kind of giving your back of the hand nonsense from Northbrook?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
In the 1960s and 70s, when novelist and philosopher Ayn Rand gave public speeches, people lined up around the block to get tickets. People who were inspired by the heroes of Rand's novels, characters like Howard Rourke, an innovative architect who refused to compromise his creative vision, and Dagny Taggart, a railroad executive who struggles to save a collapsing economy. Those audiences were also inspired by the ideas in Rand's nonfiction, where she shared her vision of man as a being of self-made soul and advocated for reason, rational self-interest, and laissez-faire capitalism. Ayn Rand's fiction and nonfiction have inspired people around the world to challenge conventional morality and pursue a better life. Are you looking for inspiration?
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brook's Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Rick Williams of Pump Supply agree.
Hi, my name is Rick Williams, owner of Pump Supply Incorporated. As a business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that understands my business and is able to respond quickly and creatively to the needs of my company. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my company and seize opportunities as I come across them. Whether it's providing a line of credit or financing the acquisition of equipment or real estate, Cornerstone has been there for me every step of the way.
Thanks, Rick. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
Starting November 4th at David's Bridal, hundreds of styles are half off. Yes, half off. That's half off select wedding dresses, including designer styles. Plus, half off all clearance bridesmaid dresses, shoes, and accessories, too. You'll find even more deals to love at davidsbridal.com. It's time to celebrate more and spend less. This sale starts November 4th, and the savings won't last long. Make your appointment at David's Bridal today. Selection varies by store while supplies last.
When you're celebrating 50 years of America's music, everybody shows up.
Let's do it. Come on.
The 50th CMA Awards on ABC with performances by Keith Urban, Miranda Lambert, Luke Bryan, plus an epic duet with Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, a show-stopping tribute to Dolly Parton, and be there for the first 8 minutes when we make country music history.
Are you guys ready?
Brad Paisley and Carrie Underwood host the CMA Awards live tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Cloudy skies. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. There is a manhunt for a cop killer in Iowa.
There is a clear and present danger to police officers right now.
2 of them were murdered early this morning. Fox's Jeff Manasso is on the case live.
Dave, 2 Des Moines area police officers were shot and killed overnight in 2 separate ambush attacks, miles apart, as the officers sat in their patrol cars.
It doesn't look like there was any interaction between these officers and whoever the coward is. That's the best we got that we can explain the scene right now.
An emotional police sergeant, Paul Parisic, with a frantic search now underway for suspect 46-year-old Scott Michael Green, who's white, 5'11", 180, brown hair and green eyes. Last known to be driving a blue 2011 Ford F-150 pickup, and who police described, Dave, as armed and very dangerous.
Jeff, 6 days before the election, Donald Trump will go back to Florida. Hillary Clinton will campaign in Nevada, then Arizona. The polls show the race is close in all 3 states. 2 nationwide tracking polls out, IBD and ABC, have Trump and Clinton dead even. It's not what Indians fans wanted to hear.
Go Cubs, go!
Cubs fans singing in Cleveland after Chicago stayed alive in the World Series. Fox's Jared Max is live at Progressive Field.
Ohio is not only a battleground state in the upcoming presidential election, but also for Major League Baseball. Game 7, no 2 words more exciting in sports. This one is all tied 3-3 between the Indians and the Cubs after Chicago beat Cleveland last night 9-3. It's been 68 years since the Indians won the title. For the Cubs, 108 years, or 39,466 days. Pitching matchup tonight, Kyle Hendricks for Chicago, Corey Kluber for the Indians. At Progressive Field, Jared Max, Fox News.
And game time is around 8 o'clock Eastern. Another rough day commuting around Philadelphia. Buses, subways, trolleys still not moving. Day 2 of a transit strike. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly cloudy skies, 59 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Cub fans saw home runs from Addison Russell, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and a stellar outing from Jake Arrieta in a 9-3 win over the Indians last night, forcing a Game 7 tonight. Hendricks against Kluber. The Cleveland ace was dominant in winning Games 1 and 4. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says the death of a 3-year-old boy on Chicago's far south side has been ruled a homicide. Tavion Thomas, according to an autopsy, died of multiple injuries due to child abuse. Authorities are searching for the driver of a hit-and-run accident that seriously injured a 3-year-old boy on Chicago's southwest side.
Be a man and turn yourself in. Let's get this over with. Let's get this addressed. There's a kid out there who's fighting for his life.
The uncle of the victim, Patrick Zabelet, police say a vehicle hit Zabelet Monday evening as he was crossing the street with his family. Construction underway on a new Welcome Center at Wheaton College. It's a $4 million project. Groundbreaking held yesterday. The new facility is set to open late next year. Patrick Kane had a goal and 2 assists for the Blackhawks last night in a win over Calgary, 5-1. Bulls clash with the Celtics tonight in Boston. The news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, the Federal Reserve is not expected to raise interest rates at the conclusion of its meeting today. However, policymakers are expected to offer a case for raising interest rates in December. Walmart is making more moves to take on Amazon.com. Walmart purchased Jet.com recently, and now it is elevating the founder of that site, Mark Lohr, to manage Walmart.com. More people will be flying this Thanksgiving holiday week. The trade group Airlines for America is predicting 500,000 more passengers will travel on U.S. airlines over the Thanksgiving period, approximately 27.7 million passengers. You could be seeing higher gas prices on the East Coast because of the explosion and fire at the Colonial Pipeline on Monday. That pipeline is expected to return to service on Saturday. The Dow dropped 105 points yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media has a duty and an obligation to cover this election fairly. Does it seem fair to you? Or do we see more coverage about the problems of one side than the problems for the other side? When the so-called journalists put their thumb on the scale and attempt to influence the most important election of our lifetime, it makes you wonder, what do we have to do to win? There's only one thing left to do. Make sure you and like-minded people go vote. It's the only way to stop them from tipping the scales. The host on this station will keep reminding you right till the end. AM 560, The Answer.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/connect. That's ZipRecruiter.com/connect. ZipRecruiter.com/connect.
8:06. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens inbound has delays starting at Foster, 22 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 23. The Kennedy is 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. There is a stall in the right lane at Kimball. On the outbound side, it's 36 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 51 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 57 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 39. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Tri-State southbound, jammed Stern School Road to 137 with a crash now on the left shoulder. Northbound delays are from 115th to the 83rd Street toll. From the Mile Long Bridge to the Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue and then Central to Willow. Eastbound Adams Tollway, so Higgins to Barrington Road. Bussy to the Des Plaines Oasis. Veterans Memorial, so I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here is meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly later in the day. High of 68. Tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm for the evening, otherwise mainly cloudy with a low 48. Some clouds followed by sunshine tomorrow, high 60. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 59 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
This is Russell. Cubs are forced to game 7. Winning it 9-3.
We're going to do this. We're going to win. We're going to come back. We're going to win tomorrow. Yeah!
I want to apologize to my professor. I won't be in class tomorrow. Sorry. We'll be here tomorrow.
He does not have the temperament to be our commander-in-chief.
Across the spectrum, Americans know that Obamacare's got to be repealed and replaced.
I will ask Congress to convene a special session so we can repeal and replace.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So while Hillary was down in Florida throwing a Hail Machado.
Hey-oh.
Thank you.
I like that's a good one. Did you just come up with that?
I did.
That's good.
Fertile mind.
Her real name's Alicia Machado. Wow, that was really, really bad.
Well, while Hillary was down there, Obama was surrogating for her in Ohio. And he had a message to the man, because he's...
To you guys, huh?
He's a cool cat. He's a man's man, President Obama.
Can I play if I feel like a man today? I mean...
Do you think that... I think it's fair to say, like, President Obama is kind of the iconic, rugged, masculine man like a John Wayne. I think that's how people see him, don't you?
Well, until I saw him on the bike with the helmet and the high pants, because not even women wear the high pants anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're slowly starting to come back, but at the beginning of his presidency in 2008, not a good look. And then he threw out the first pitch of the White Sox game, barely crossed the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gotta get some heat. But he can play basketball. I've seen him play basketball too. I don't know.
Yeah,
he
is terrible.
Got a beautiful smile.
Terrible.
I mean, if we're going to get into this, if you want to know my true feelings.
Yeah, oh, please.
Great smile. I emceed a few events with him. Very nice man. Not a pervert, not.
Oh, sure, because you know him intimately. You've been at events with him, just like people.
My children, yes.
Just like people used to go to events with Denny Hastert. They knew him, and they knew what he was and what he wasn't.
Because if you can't compare this.
No. I'm not comparing him to Denny Hastert. I'm comparing the idea that you go to an event with a politician and now you know them. You know everything about them. Oh, he's a nice guy. I met him at an event. Right.
I knew him when he was a state senator. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for it. I've known him since 1996.
Really? What was the interaction like?
Well, I told him that there's no way in HE double hockey sticks he's going to beat Bobby Rush. So why is he even trying? He said, "Well, Amy, I'm just trying to get my name out there."
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then I'd see him at the gym, and I don't.
Yeah, I know.
But Denny Hastert, I always knew he was squirrely. There was something up with Denny Hastert.
Oh, you were the one who knew.
No,
Yeah.
a lot of people knew.
Oh, really?
He was squirrely.
It's squirrely.
Never made eye contact with you. It was weird. He would always look.
Well, that's interesting.
Don't cut.
If you had an inkling about that during your career as a television reporter,
We all talked about it. Are you kidding me? Marion Ahern, we all talked about it.
Talk about what exactly?
That he was squirrely and there's something was not right. We knew he lived with a guy in D.C. and.
Oh, and nobody did anything about
Well,
it.
what do you-
Investigative reporters.
Okay.
Which is it? I knew something.
Well, the people that he molested knew something too, that they didn't have the courage to come forward.
We're not talking about them. We're not talking about victims. We're talking about people in the Fourth Estate.
The victims could have come forward when he was rising into power and becoming, 2 heartbeats away from the presidency.
So there's a lot of, you walked yourself into this place, my friend.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, there's a Fourth Estate and there's the responsibility. And you said you knew something or had an inkling about something. You didn't follow up on it. Now you're blaming the victims for not coming forward. I don't know. And my point is to say, we went down this rabbit hole because you wanted to go down this rabbit hole. But my point is to say, people don't know somebody because you meet him at an event. People don't know somebody, or you report on them, or you meet them, or you talk to them in passing. You talk about the weather in passing at a club. You don't know them. You don't know anything about them. And how many times does this have to be proven over and over again? You see him on TV, Mr. Huxtable, and you think you know him, what kind of person they are. Nobody knows. You don't know. That's my only point.
I went swimming with them.
Oh, okay. Now you know. Now you're like a member of the family. Sure. And so when but going back to President Obama being this man's man,
okay,
he's got the standing among men in this country to speak truth, to make them think about their thinking, and do a little bit of self-examination for the men who aren't rolling in for Hillary Clinton. And here's what he thinks might be going on, something to consider, guys.
I just want to say it to the guys out there. I want to be honest. You know, there's a reason why we haven't had a woman president before. And I think that sometimes, you know, we're kind of trying to get over the hump. And we have to ask ourselves as men, because I hope my daughters are going to be able to achieve anything they want to achieve. And I know that my wife is not just my equal, but my superior. I want every man out there who's voting to kind of look inside yourself and ask yourself, well, if you're having problems with this stuff, how much of it is, you know, that we're just not used to it?
Yeah.
So that, you know, when a guy's ambitious and out in the public arena and working hard, well, that's okay. But when a woman suddenly does it, suddenly you're all like, well, why is she doing that?
So that's what explains Hillary's gender problem with men. She's down, you know, she was down before Friday's revelations, 11 points among men. Most of the polling that I saw, probably more than that now. It's sexism. That's the issue. So all those Republican women in office at federal, state level, Congress, governor's mansions, apparently they got there without any male support. So, you know, you men out there, you sexists, you might want to think about Hillary Clinton. You might want to think about, you know, what it is that's really motivating you to oppose Hillary Clinton. You want to pretend it's scandal and corruption and big government gambits and the diminution of your freedom and so forth. It's not.
No.
It's sexism. That's what it is.
So you have a new label now. Because now white men are in college are rapists, and now white men who don't support Hillary Clinton are also sexist.
We're all the ists and we're all the phobias. We're afflicted by all the phobias.
Bad decade for you guys.
There's no question about it, and I think it was courageous of President Obama to speak to us. I mean, it was almost like, you remember those Promise Keepers events?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I felt like as I was listening to the profound offering of the president on this topic and really doing a little bit of soul searching myself.
And what have you discovered, Dan?
That, well, you know, I got some work to do. That I need to be a better me. And I've been inspired by President Obama to pursue being the best Dan that I can be. Being a Dan that's, you know, a little less sexist and a little bit better golfer and a little bit better basketball player.
I'm sorry.
Nick on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Dan, Amy.
Hey.
Long-time 890 fan, but Amy brought me to this channel.
Oh, good.
Thank you for having me. Quick question, Dan. Why don't you run for alderman? I think that would be great. Your platform could be everything that comes up that you need to vote for, that you actually put it on an email to your constituents. You know, what do you want me to vote for? So that way nobody has a problem of what you're actually voting for. You're voting for the people. I think that would be great. You know, state rep, Congress, wherever. And as far as the Trump sign, how could we want to take it down? Yes, of course, the guy said things that nobody wants to hear, no female wants to hear, no mom wants to hear. But then again, you have the Clinton Foundation taking money from Saudi Arabia that if you're not politically correct or your gender is different or you're confused with your gender, they just throw you off a roof. But they're not going to give their money back. but everybody wants to take down the Trump sign.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Nick.
When you run for alderman, I'm sorry, you can your mantra like I'll never be at Boss Bar and I'll put up the sign.
Yeah, that's a good platform. Am I ever going to run for alderman? No, I'm not. But
Why not?
I appreciate the encouragement.
You have a mostly Republican ward.
I know I don't want to be an alderman. That's why I'm not going to do it.
And that's why you're not flying me home from Cleveland, because I don't want to.
Because I don't want to. So I only do the things I really want to do. Generally speaking, well, there's some exceptions, you're paying taxes and so forth. But here's the thing. I think that Trump sign, replace it with, I don't know, an honorary sign for pick.
Oh my God! Well, I guess it's going to be Alderman Riley's honorary.
No. I mean, you want to do something to honor their intellectual and spiritual leader, Hillary Clinton. So.
Oh, Clinton way.
No. But you got to think bigger. Do something. Do
Gloria Steinem?
No. I'm thinking like pick an Islamic theocrat or dictator. Kind of from the donor class for the Clinton Foundation.
Theocrat.
Yeah, like maybe.
What's the name of my high school band?
I don't know. Maybe let's memorialize the nuclear deal with Iran by making it Hassan Rouhani Way, sponsored by the Clinton Foundation.
Speaking of Iranians, what about Valerie Jarrett Way?
Well, I mean, she deserves her own boulevard, not just an honorary sign. I mean, she probably her own kind of, I don't know, housing project maybe. Meredith in Geneva.
Yeah, I was just calling because I find it almost ironic and hypocritical that Amy's now back on the Trump train, and maybe rather than meeting somebody and hearing one soundbite, maybe you should learn the facts about somebody and look at maybe historical data about people rather than looking at sound bites from somebody like Machado and maybe your friends who are liberals and taking sound bites, and maybe just look at the facts about people and make decisions rather than little sound bites here and there.
Thanks for the call, Meredith.
I think I'm studying this campaign. I have been for 16 months.
And winning smiles.
Gosh, Meredith is a little angry.
Toothy grins get you every time.
I know what my issues are. I care about Obamacare. I care about national security, and I care about immigration. And that's
why you're voting for Trump.
Yeah, but she made me sound like I'm some flake, Cub fan or something. I don't know why she would say that.
You're talking that voice. It's not helping. Sean from Elmwood Park.
Kidding.
I love it when Trump supporters want you to look at the history of people. That's almost as laughable as Bathhouse Barry pretending to be a man. I'll tell you another thing, Amy.
Never in a bathhouse.
I stuck up for you if you noticed that first sentence. But for you to tell me you think that Barry is a man because you saw him play basketball. Who was he playing basketball with? Can I ask you
Duncan and Rogers.
Reggie Love, who he likes long walks on the beach with? Or was it Alexi Giannoulias, that other man's man? Listen to me. This is a crowd of effeminate. You want to see what a man is? Watch Barry's face, Barack, when Michelle walks into the room. You ever see anything like it? It's outrageous. It almost looks like Melania when Donald Trump at Saturday night and he pops the blue pill. They're terrified, not sure what's going to happen, and sure it's going to be very unpleasant. So I don't buy any of it. It's not about a man's man. It's like watching Madigan prance down the stairs when the investigative reporter's in the front. I think we got a bunch of Sallys running things, and we're all going to pay the price for it. But what's exciting is we're not going to have to listen to that stuttering, bumbling stammer he's got when he's off teleprompter. So let's put Trump on the teleprompter and get Barry out of the White House.
All right, thanks for the call, Sean. Chuck on the Northwest Side.
Hey, Dan and Amy, you're talking about the alderman wanting to take away Trump Way.
It's coming down.
It's ridiculous. But you know what I hope? When Trump wins, I hope he adds one word to his power. President Trump.
Yes.
And a little tiny dancer would have a fit.
Thanks for the call, Chuck.
Little Tiny Dancers has got to give that money back.
No.
$50,000.
I prefer you keep it. I absolutely prefer you keep it. Don't pretend you're somebody that we know you're not. Be yourself.
Okay.
Be your amoral, bankrupt morally and in every other way, little self, Rom. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, good morning. I have an idea what to do with the sign, Dan. Melt it down. Not into a sword, not into a plowshare, but in a pair of ceremonial handcuffs that'll come in handy for the city council members, inevitably where they wind up.
Oh, there you go. Thanks for the call, Tom. That's not a bad idea. make you're going to not just one set, make multiple sets of handcuffs. Those would be the special handcuffs that federal agents use when they arrest Chicago aldermen or Chicago politicians generally. We know Lisa Madigan would never use them. We know the Cook County State's Attorney's Office won't use them because they don't prosecute corruption. There's no corruption in Chicago and Illinois, according to them.
No, nothing to see here.
But in terms of federal agents, the U.S. Attorney's Office, 219 South Dearborn, special cuffs for the politicians. I like that idea. That's a good idea.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Pretty thick cloud coverage right now, but later in this afternoon we'll have some shower and thunderstorms. But again, late this afternoon, early this evening. 68 degrees for a high tonight. Rain and thunderstorms likely in case you plan on heading down by Wrigley Field. And tomorrow, no rain, just pleasant conditions, some clouds, some sun, and an average high for this time of year of 60 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Anything sticky on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, eastbound I-80 has gooey delays. LaGrange Road to 80th Avenue with a crash in the left lane. Eden's just 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 36. The Kennedy, 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, a little quicker in the Express. Outbound 35. The Eisenhower's an hour and 8 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 46 minutes. Stevenson, 56 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. The Ryan at 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow 111th to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, southbound, we still see delays 137 to Eau Plaine after an earlier crash in the area. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. A few months ago, Hillary and Company praised Jim Comey and his team as dedicated career professionals who made a judicious decision. Last week, after he reopened the Hillary email investigation, Comey became a rogue federale who had possibly violated the Hatch Act, according to Senator Harry Reid. That's Team Hillary for you. Their ethics are synced to their interests. Thus, Hillary's political deathbed conversion to transparency. Hillary's practice high dudgeon of demanding the full release of the new cache of emails, knowing there's no chance the FBI does that prior to review, might be more compelling if she didn't simultaneously send Uma into hiding. That little two-step is compounded by Hillary Flax feigning complete confusion as to the contents of the new emails, even as they can't be bothered to ask Uma, the co-custodian of the material. Hillary's offensive posture to law enforcement is reminiscent of former Illinois Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. telling federal prosecutors to quote-unquote bring it on. It got brought. Jesse Jr. and his wife went from serving consecutive terms in office to consecutive terms in prison. Perhaps that's what's in store for Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Danger and Mr. and Mrs. Clinton.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
You desperately need workers. You don't have time to find them. Let us handle it. We did it 425,000 times last year. This is Terry Greeno. My company is Express Employment Professionals. We know how to find the right people for your business. If you own or run a business in McHenry or Kane County, let us be your partner. Be it finance, accounting, administrative, manufacturing, engineering, we've got you covered. We help make this critical part of your business better so you can focus on running your business. It's simple. We put great companies and great people together. If you own or run a business in McHenry or Kane County, give us a try. Find out why we are the go-to company for great employees. Check us out at expresshires.com.
Contact the go-to company for great employees in McHenry or Kane County. Contact Express Employment Professionals, 815-788-8556, 815-788-8556. The following is a paid political announcement.
You know who I'm going to miss?
The Rolling Stones?
No, Jack Franks.
Yeah, he served McHenry County for a long time. Good guy.
Yeah, but this new guy running, Steve Reich, he's a great guy too.
Really?
We won't miss a beat with Reich. He knows how to get lower property taxes. That's his field.
Yeah?
And Reich has ideas to grow the economy up here.
You really like Reich.
So did the Northwest Herald and the Chicago Tribune.
Good enough for me. I like Reich too.
I'm Steve Reich, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative in the 63rd District.
Paid for by the House Republican Organization.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
You don't have to go underwater anymore. You don't need to go down in that hole with your portfolio and dig yourself out. You can actually put a floor so you never go down ever again and get into a strategy where you just continue to make growth. So not only that your principal is protected, but whatever gains you make, those are protected as well.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, a friend just messaged me about honorary signs in Chicago and all the furor over taking the Trump sign down. It's worth noting that pornographer Hugh Hefner has an honorary sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from Chicago. He started the Playboy magazine in Chicago.
Oh, I know. I'm familiar with his work. I just wanted to
draw
the comparison because it's all about how Donald Trump treats and talks to women, right?
Because he objectifies women. Oh, wait. Isn't that what Hugh Hefner does?
It's just I love the intellectual dishonesty of the left. It's just endlessly entertaining.
I got to get you that sign. I mean, I have to get you that sign before they melt it down.
Right,
should I start a Save the Sign campaign?
You work on that. I do want to get to this again because some people may not have heard it. This bears repeating.
This is great.
One of the great love stories. I don't know. Is it about a boy and a girl in a law library?
In the spring of 1971, I met a girl.
Is it Dr. Zhivago? Is it Uma and Hillary when they first met, as recounted by Uma?
And I remember being at the rally in Little Rock, and it was election night, and obviously he was reelected. And I remember being on the rope line, and there are thousands and thousands of people, and I was, with a whole bunch of my friends, and I had met her before, like I said, in this photo for 30 seconds. They come out, and the crowd's electric. It's these things that happen in your life that just stick. That she walked by and she shook my hand, and our eyes connected, and I just remember having this moment where I thought, wow, this is amazing, and it just inspired me, and I still remember the look on her face. And it's funny, and she would probably be so annoyed that I say this, but I remember thinking, oh my God, she's so beautiful and she's so little, and it's just sort of, because people look different on TV, and I just thought, wow. And I had such a fangirl moment, and I was hooked. I mean, and that sort of was my, that's my first kind of my memory.
It was her aha moment. Her first love.
Yeah.
Oh, this is creepy.
When she was completed.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain. I did not want to deal with the side effects of pain meds. There is absolutely no reason to suffer. There are ways to find a solution and get off the drugs. I definitely believe Dr. Candido found that for me, and immediately, he sat down with me, really wanted to find the source of the pain and really fix me. And, I've seen many doctors in my lifetime, obviously with this accident, but I have to say Dr. Kenneth Candido, he cares about me. It's changed my life. I absolutely would recommend Dr. Kenneth Candido. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Dan can't deny it any longer. Game 7 of the World Series, and the Cubs actually might win.
It's possible, unlikely, but possible. And I want to hear what Ralph Rantoul has in terms of other offensive signs we need to get rid of at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. And here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a massive manhunt is underway this morning for a cop killer in Iowa.
In all appearances, it looks just like that these officers were ambushed.
Police in Des Moines identifying 46-year-old Scott Green as the man suspected of having shot and killed 2 police officers overnight. Green described as a 46-year-old white male, 5'11", 180 pounds, driving a blue 2011 Ford F-150 with Iowa plates. And here is that number, 780YFR. Green should be considered armed and dangerous. Schools in and around the Des Moines suburb of Urbandale are closed today as a precaution. Donald Trump trying to persuade early voters who voted for Hillary Clinton to change their votes, which you can do in some states, like Wisconsin. Mass transit strike in Philadelphia now on for its second day. A magnitude 4.5 earthquake shook north-central Oklahoma, hitting the same area where a record-setting 5.8 magnitude quake struck 2 months ago. It happened just around midnight last night. The survey reports the epicenter near Pawnee, but it was felt as far away as Kansas City. Cubs beat the Indians last night 9-3 thanks to an Addison Russell grand slam.
Just been the same work ethic, since day one. Not doing anything different. Made some pretty good swings tonight. Definitely the confidence is up for tomorrow.
Chris Bryant had 4 hits last night as well. Big league ERA leader Kyle Hendricks will go against Cleveland ace Corey Kluber tonight. Chicago Teachers Union approves a contract with its leaders negotiated with the Chicago Public Schools. More than 70% of teachers voted yes on that agreement. Blackhawks beat Calgary 5-1. Bulls tangle with Boston tonight. The news, a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Be prepared for winter, spring, summer, and fall with Firestone FR 710 all-season tires. Now 10% off at Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher feels a surprise coming.
I just don't think the excitement or the enthusiasm or the going into the voting booth and voting for Donald Trump is going to be stopped. I think we better be prepared for a big surprise on November the 8th. I believe that with all of my heart. Hey, the Cubs and the Indians in the World Series, anything can happen, right?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now at Buffalo Wild Wings, try their next genius sauce creation. Kickin' honey garlic, sweet with a little kick. This sauce was made for kickoff. While supplies last, Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings Beer Sports.
I know a perfect Christmas gift. Did you guess it? Yep, it's MyPillow. And MyPillow will extend the money-back guarantee through March. Plus, if you buy one premium MyPillow, you'll still get the second one and 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of only 1 with an extended money-back guarantee. It's the best offer ever. The National Sleep Foundation made MyPillow their official pillow. It's washable to remove germs that cause allergies, acne, and asthma. And you'll sleep better. Visit MyPillow.com, click the Radio Listener Special tab, and use the promo code Joe. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere for the price of 1, plus the extended money-back guarantee through March for your Christmas gifts. Or you can call 1-800-489-0201, mention the Radio Listener Special, and be sure to use the promo code Joe. That's MyPillow.com or 1-800-489-0201.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
It is 8:37, and before we go any further, let's congratulate Jim Talamonte. Today is National Broadcast Traffic Professionals Day. I did not send roses or candy. I'm sorry. And you also share
137 northbound, Harlem to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Adams Tollway heavy busy to the Des Plaines Oasis. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Showers and storms in your forecast. Those thunderstorms will drift through mainly later in the day. High 68 and more rain and storms into the evening hours. Low 48. 61 officially at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Dan and Amy, all right, I got a question about Trump and Clinton. But first, we were talking about the city council and their infinite wisdom taking down the Trump sign because they have their priorities in order in terms of what's most important to the denizens of Chicago. And Ralph from Rantoul wanted to chime in on this. Ralph, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. And also, along with National Deviled Egg Day is National Required Movie Watch Day, Cool Hand Luke. So as far as the signs, I'm always offended to see the German philosopher Goethe have a street named after him.
He does.
Of course, there's the completely feminine, inappropriate Broadway. Come on, who talks like that anymore?
Yeah.
Then, of course, there's everything that's pro-female violence, also the NFL wing, which is Whacker.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And then there's Hooker Street.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. No, I think
After General Hooker, who brought some ladies for his men. That's how the term hooker came.
I think Whacker's after Charles Whacker, but I get
Is that your favorite? The one that's I'm right by Paulina.
Malvina.
And
Lunt
Street. I got a ticket there once, right? Didn't you, Dan, get a ticket there?
And here's the thing about Goethe, since Ralph brought it up. The reason that Goethe is so offensive is because Goethe once observed that to think is easy, to act is hard, but the most difficult thing in the world is to act in accordance with one's thinking. And those are words that would incite violence in Chicago. Those are verboten observations, and thus the Goethe street sign should be taken down. I agree with him on that.
Well, this morning they're deciding now that the city council and the mayor have decided what to do with it, or to take it down. Now they're trying to decide what to do with it. And your alderman,
why don't they make it a sled?
Why
don't they make it a sled for Tiny Dancer for the winter?
They could grease it up, and then Madigan could push him down the hill, and he go wee.
Yeah,
it's so fun to go sledding. No, your alderman wants to melt it down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking like a public flogging of a stupid sign. I mean, where are their priorities?
Jeff in Gurnee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning.
Hey.
You took my thunder in regard to the street sign that rhymes with Paulina and Malvina.
Yes.
But
yeah.
why don't the city council take it down and auction it off and give it to the family of those two 17-year-old twins, what that mother has to be going through? And instead of worrying about a sign, worrying about how they're going to clean up the streets. Thank you so much. I'll listen for your comment.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Yeah, use it as a memorial for the teen shot while they were playing the fiddle while Rome burned, all the Neros on the city council. That's the point. That is the point. There's no question about it. Let me ask another question, going back to the presidential election, if I might.
Yes.
The LA Times USC tracking poll has Trump with a 6 percentage point lead. But here's the thing, and this essentially details the impact of the media, the D.C. press corps, we often speak of. 48% surveyed are going to vote for Trump. The total number who believe Trump will win, 41%. Isn't that interesting?
So say that again.
48% voting for Trump, according to the LA Times USC tracking poll. 41% think Trump is going to win. So let me ask this question to Trump voters. Do you think Trump is going to win? If you're voting for him, okay, let's start from there. But setting that aside, do you think he's going to win? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line, because there's the should happen, and then there's the what you think will happen. And what the D.C. press corps does, and conservatives buy into this with their fatalism, is say, well, it's so rigged that there's no chance we can win. There's no chance I can make an impact. And, of course, that's what they want you to think. What did Bob Creamer write in his book we talked about last week? Creamy Bob.
Okay, we're not using the word creamy or moist or dewy or...
What about scab?
Such gross.
He talked, the whole play of the Alinskyite left, the grassroots left, is to demoralize conservatives, demoralize their opponents, make them buy into the fatalism that you throw up your hands, there's nothing you can do, we've got it all gamed, and you're SOL. So, and it's interesting. By the way, in terms of demographics, Trump, according to LA USC poll, plus 20 among men, Hillary only plus 10 among women. Other interesting thing, CatholicVote.org, which is Chicago-based, yesterday put out an email that finds Donald Trump with an 11-point lead among Catholics after being down 21 among Catholics just back in August. Now, Mitt Romney only won Catholics by 4 percentage points. So if Donald Trump comes in anywhere near plus 11 among Catholics in places like Pennsylvania and Ohio and Wisconsin, Michigan, that's good news. That's good news. He comes in plus 11 Catholics, then this thing is over. Even if you don't think so. Nobody cares. David in Hillside, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Great. Yeah, so I'm one of those Trump voters, and I'm going to vote for Trump on November 8th. But I wish he would win, but I just don't see it happening.
Why don't you think he's going to win?
I can't hear.
Why don't you think he's going to win?
Well, I'm reading, with the liberal media and, portraying him as a villain and as a horrible person. And that's what most of the people are listening to and watching. And at least people that I've been talking to. Maybe I just live in Illinois, so I'm interested in a hellhole. I don't know. But,
Okay, thanks for the call, David. I mean, he's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, right? And I'm not being critical, but the idea that the people believe because of the influence of the D.C. press corps, they talk among their circles of influence or within their circles of influence, and they see people kind of not, putting all the pieces together and say, well, this is hopeless. I don't think so. I think the revolt is real. Will and Skokie.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, Will.
Yeah, I think that he's going to win, too, and I think it's going to be like a Brexit thing. I think there's a bunch of people out there who are pissed off at the press. They're angry at the establishment. They hate Hillary, and they just want to shove it, a little, take the stick and stick it in the beehive and stir it up a little bit. Kind of like when Washington got elected here.
Yeah, thanks for the call. I think so. I mean, this would be the biggest FU to the elites that lord over this country in forever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, certainly since Reagan, and I'm not comparing Trump to Reagan, but certainly since Reagan. The amiable dunce.
I think that there would be violence if Donald Trump wins. Taking it one step further, but I think there'd be some cars flipped over and set on fire.
Yeah, you want to have civil
Those
war?
Liberals,
civil
anarchists.
war?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Steve on the South Side.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. With all this technology, I'm going to vote for Trump, but I still don't understand why the voting machines count votes with a decimal point. That's why I think he's going to lose.
Yeah, thanks for the call. He's not.
That it's rigged.
He's not going to lose because of the Soros voting machines. That's. I don't believe that's going to happen. There's just not enough evidence to suggest this is pervasive and determinative. So I'm not. No. Let's not do conspiracy theories. I mean, and I know there's some shreds, and I know there's some legitimate questions, but the idea that that technology will direct the outcome, and that this is all to Hillary's advantage. I do not.
You're not buying into that?
Do not believe. Paul in Evanston.
Hello?
Hey, Paul, you're on.
Hey, I just want to say that, I believe in Trump for one reason, because, he is promoting a more sustainable form of government. But, I am not going to kid myself into thinking that he is going to win enough electoral votes. He may win the popular vote, but I just don't see how he can win, enough electoral votes to take this thing.
Well, thanks for the call, Paul, but keep watching. This thing is moving.
Oh, Chuck Todd yesterday, they did the whole electoral map, and Donald Trump it's getting closer, especially if Nevada and Arizona and Colorado.
And those are he's going to win. He's certainly going to win Arizona. I suspect he wins Nevada.
Hillary's going to Arizona and Nevada today. So she's on to you, Dan.
This thing is moving, and I think if it's not interrupted in the next 4 or 5 days, I think you're looking at perhaps Trump breaking through and this being an electoral landslide. I really think
you heard it here.
That's how quickly it's moving. And I've seen, and some of this is what I've seen, the volatility I've seen just in the polling I've done of state legislative races in Illinois. And you see big moves.
Like
big
what? Tell me.
moves. I mean, you just see from week over week, you see Trump move 11 points. He moved, it was to the negative back around the Billy Bush tape, and it's to the positive since. And that includes some surveying after the announcement on Friday, but right after it. This is still sinking in. This is now being discussed through the course of the last several days and will be through the rest of the campaign.
And then we have yesterday, John Podesta's email saying we got to dump these emails sooner rather than later. And they said, oh, you mean dumping to let the public know? No, we know what you were doing.
Right.
We know it's a cover-up. It's clear.
And
so obvious.
The more of that stuff comes, it just continues to pile up and you reach critical mass. And, when you look at polling and say, oh, well, the RCP average is still plus 2.2. Yeah, but you have to look at trend lines and you have to look at intensity. Where's the volatility? Because Hillary's up 1 point somewhere, or for that matter, Trump's up 1 point somewhere, that means they're going to win by 1 point. The margin of error in these surveys is 3 to 5%. I mean, that's real. That's a real margin of error. So this is why you have some surveys all over the place, depending on your modeling. Even doing it properly, even with proper methodology, there is margin there. So you look at momentum and you look at what is dominating the discussion and how that plays in terms of directing momentum. And this is trending away from her. Now, I'm not saying that that's over, but it is trending away from her. That is clear. Don in Bloomingdale.
I think he's going to win because of everything you just said, Dan, plus the millions of voters that stayed away when Romney ran are coming back because there's payback that they want.
Okay, thanks for the call. Yeah, I mean, the whole...
Is it true, though? Did 3 million people stay at home that last election?
Yeah. But the
registered Republicans.
Well, the idea of Republicans coming home, too. Trump at his nadir had been at, high 60s, low 70s in terms of self-identified Republicans supporting him. I know here he's moved north of the low 80s. He's probably trending towards 90 plus. That's where he needs to be. Stephanie in Lake Forest.
Trump is totally in. My conservative daughter who works in New York said today that her coworkers came in shocked because Daily Mail is starting to bash Hillary. There's never been anything about WikiLeaks, nothing. But from what I understand, Daily Mail is a big deal for these young people. So I think the tide is turning. Totally agree with what you're saying, Dan.
Thanks for the call, Stephanie.
So smart, Dan.
Judy in Hobart, Indiana.
Dan.
Right, we'll see how smart I am. Hey, Judy.
Yes, hi, how are you? I'm positive Trump is going to win. I had a good feeling when he first announced for presidency back in 2015, and I think people are not seeing this from a spiritual point of view, which I am. Everyone's seeing it from a secular viewpoint, and this is a battle between good and evil. And he has so many people praying for him, and so many things have happened in his run that should have been insurmountable for the normal person.
Yeah.
And it seems like he keeps fighting and he just keeps going, and I know he's going to win.
Yeah, and running against Screw Tape helps. Thanks, Judy.
You've made the switch. and it feels so good. You switch to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Ladies and gentlemen, this administration is not finished in dampening growth and prosperity for the American business. December 1st, the new overtime rules go into effect. Are you ready? Are you ready for the new EEO-1 tracking and filing requirements? Precision Payroll of America is ready to help. Oh, and are you ready to implement Chicago's and Cook County's mandatory sick pay policy? Precision Payroll of America is ready to help.